Good morning, everybody. It's so good to see all of you fine folks. Debbie, Sir Frank Otter, Brenda, and Shadow Grey Wolf. King Paco. Brenda, little sis, how you doing? Good to see you fine folks here this morning. It is, it is Friday. I mean, come on. How can you go wrong on a Friday? Everything's going to be good. We've got a lot going on for you today. So, kick back, relax, grab yourself a cup of coffee. If you don't have a cup of coffee, then your tea or iced tea or whatever it is you're drinking. What a day it's going to be. What a day it's going to be. I've got so much going on that has nothing to do with work. Now, I always forget about these things because I'm just, always half lost. But this weekend, being Memorial Day weekend, that means an extra long weekend for me. But I will still probably stream on Monday. I don't have to work, but why not do a nice Memorial Day stream Monday morning? So if you guys want to join in, you're welcome to. If not, well, then you don't have to. Good morning, Steve Ferner. Doing good to see. It is such a pleasure to see all you fine folks this morning. Man, it has been one hell of a week. All kinds of things coming in, and I don't know how many of you watched last night or even cared to watch. There was we'll just go over some of the silliness really quick, just to make it easier. Harris defends shifts from some of the liberal positions in first interview of her presidential campaign. Well, on Thursday, she's defending shifting. She's shifty. So careful, shifty. Some of her more liberal positions in her first major television interview of her presidential campaign, but insisting her values have not changed. All right, well, holding her water. Sitting with her running mate was Tim Walz. And I went over this last. Of those you didn't see, hey, Mickey D, good to see you. Is 4 on each shoulder away from going with a full-on wife beater shirt today. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, she and I pointed this out because I thought it was something of note that why would she bring Tim Walz on there? And it had a lot to do with her wording. Although she is the current vice president, she's never primaried. So the people that are supporting her are sort of, it's a weird position to be in. And that's why she was called a diversity hire. And, her shifting her position so drastically over the past 4 weeks. I was up late last night. Yes, I was. Her shifting over the past 4 weeks is what Donald Trump pointed out. Whenever he was asked about his comments about the color of her skin, because she's been showing herself to be this type of person that just shifts with whatever the wind, whatever way the wind is blowing, or whatever he feels like blowing, or something of that sort. I always forget, something like that. But of course, she's asked specifically about her reversals on banning fracking and decriminalizing border crossings positions she took her last run for president. She confirmed she does not want to ban fracking, but she did. And Dana Bash was very, very poignant about pointing that out to her, that no, you said this in 2019, and you could see the look on her face of how she wasn't supposed to be called out on that. And she just about, you saw it start to crack for a second, and then she came in really snidely and called Dana Bash Dana Bash, and then quickly, I mean Dana Bash. See, also she said something about walls, which I had to go back and watch it a couple of times because I was confused of her saying that she was happy to be, she's proud of her service as a vice president, and happy to be running with her running mate, and names him, Walls, and says running for president. Because I don't think I think that whenever people see her, they really just cringe. And they know that Walls looks like this happy-go-lucky, goofball Don Rickles kind of, silly. And Baker pointed something out last night that I really hadn't thought about, is that because I don't really watch whenever, he has to come out, because it's usually just fluff and circumstance and they have music and crap like that. But he comes out and he's all, hey, overacting and acting silly. I was like, never noticed that before, because usually I try to skip over the very first part where people are walking out. It's like someone overacting. And of course, she talks about consequences. She doesn't want to ban fracking, which she said multiple times that she wanted to. That was what they ran on. That was the whole Democrat platform. She went on to say, I believe it's important to build consensus. Oh, no. It's important to find a common place of understanding where we can actually solve the problem. But you've been there for 3.5 years and you still haven't done anything. The interview with Dana Bash, and I always say Dana because it looks like a damn Dana, came as voters are still trying to learn more about the Democrat ticket. But look at what's been happening for the past 4 years. That's what's going to happen for the next 4 years. Pretty clear. The interview focused largely on policy because she doesn't have any policy. It's already what it is. Like, you can't come in and run as the party of change whenever you've done exactly what you said you were going to do for 4 years. You can't call yourself a party of change. They want to move forward. Believe them whenever they say it. Harris hadn't done an in-depth interview since she became her party's standard bearer 5 weeks ago. Well, since she was diversity hired into it. Though she did sit for several while she was still Biden's running mate. She said serving with Biden was one of the greatest honors of her career. She recounted the moment when she could tell her she was stepping down and could support her. Because, see, they're trying to humanize the reptilians. He was very clear that he was very clear that he was going to endorse me. Harris defended the administration's record on the southern border, and then blamed Donald Trump for their failures on the southern border. Like, okay. When asked about Israel's war on Gaza, she said that she wants Palestine to be considered a state. She was very clear about that. I mean, she also said that she wants a ceasefire, but she wants part of that ceasefire to be that Palestine is recognized as a state, which, if you know anything about Middle Eastern conflict, that's going to happen. It'll be an ongoing war. It'll be an ongoing battle because they don't know how to broker peace because they're not peaceful. She also brushed off Donald Trump's questioning. No, here's the thing, and I will repeat this over again. Donald Trump has never questioned her ethnicity. Not once. He said, I always thought she was Indian. That's how she identified. Now you tell me she's black. Okay. This is how she does. She flip-flops. She goes with the wind. Good morning, JD. How you doing? Hey, how you doing, Toy? And every time you hear them saying black and South Asian heritage, she's Indian and black. What's the question? That's how she's always identified. If she wants to try to change the narrative, fine. Just shows you where she actually stands. And then, of course, she says, same old tired playbook, sort of like the one where they call Donald Trump a racist, hateful, spiteful, misogynist, bigoted, bigots. Trump and Harris are set to debate on the 10th of September, which sucks. In a post Thursday evening, it appeared Trump was paying close attention to the interview. After the debate was mentioned, he posted, I look so forward to debating Comrade Camel Toe Harris and exposing her for the fraud she is. Trump went on to say that his Democrat opponent has changed every one of her long-held positions on everything. America will never allow election weaponizing Marxists to be president of the United States. The debate will be the first ever meeting with Trump and Harris. The opponents have only been on the same space when Harris, as a senator, attended Trump's joint address to Congress. During the early parts of the interview, Walz watched quietly and nodded when Harris made her main points, sort of more like, big. Yeah. Good morning, Captain Kern. During the early parts of the interview, Walz watched quietly and nodded, starting with, and he was later asked about his misstatements, started when he had described his 24 years of service in the National Guard. In a 2018 video clip that the Harris-Walz campaign once circulated, Walz spoke out against gun violence, said, we can make sure those weapons of war that I carried in war was the only place where those weapons are at. Yeah, we know. We know that he's just as bad. All you have to do is look at his city. Critics said the comment that carried in war suggested that Walz portrayed himself as someone who spent time in a combat zone. My grammar is not always correct, was his excuse. Because stolen valor is a thing. And he knows that he's gotten called out for it. We showed the video clip. You can watch it last night. Democrats' enthusiasm about their vote in November had surged over the past few months, according to polling from Gallup. It hasn't surged anywhere. And I have to do this because everyone keeps talking about, oh, how wonderful and grand it was at the Kamala place, and I pull this up not to point out at just the size of the crowd, because I'm gonna do that also. But whenever you see this picture, you're sort of gonna laugh a little bit, and I'll point it out so you can really get a good look at it. So here is from Savannah. This was the picture that's being circulated from Savannah. And whenever I say being circulated from Savannah, this right here picture comes from the Harris campaign, or someone working within the Harris campaign. And you say, no. There was plenty of pictures from that event. I'm like, okay. So if there's plenty of pictures from that event and you don't see any cameras out here, let me go to this. We'll go to this right here. Oh, this is another person. And see, different person, large Harris happening in Savannah, Georgia on a Thursday afternoon. Trump is going to lose. And then this Harris's crowd in Savannah. Yeah, it was great. Do you see the difference here in the two pictures? They're the same damn picture. This was put out by the Harris campaign. There's another one. There. Harris rally, patriotic Americans against her facade. MAGA cultists have the same weird fixation on crowd size that their cult leader has and demands to see photos of the crowd. So here you go. So we've got three different people that are showing the same picture. And then, of course, we've got this one here that's going through, look at Savannah, Georgia today, Harris rally 2024, Savannah, Georgia, that one there. And look, same damn thing. Republicans against Trump. Wow, the Harris rally in Savannah, Georgia right now. Something is happening. As you can see, these are propaganda pictures. And I had to pull them out because they're the same damn one. Same people. Same exact people. And I won't click on them and big them because there's no point in doing that. So you got that one that's spanning around, this one that's spanning around like it's two different people. The same people. Same people making the same video. Exactly the same time. In the same spot. Same floor. Same stops. Same pauses. Same movements. Everything. Cue the Spider-Man meme. Spider Pig does whatever a spider pig does. And then, of course, you have this one right here. And I'm going to mute it here. And let me do this real quick. Mute. There we go. This one, which is clearly done by his campaign, because you don't get these follow-alongs whenever you have anything. So this right here would have been from Trump's campaign. Ah, bastard. So this right here, you can tell because of where the camera is being placed. This is the crowd just for a town hall. Stops, greets everyone. You can tell that he's got his videographer there. And every single person right there got their little phones up. Who was singing at the rally? And were those people still there when they finished singing? They actually, the music that was being played was, I'm trying to think of that song. I'm happy because, their whole campaign is about joy. It is a joy division kind of thing. So this right here, you can tell it's from Trump campaign. They don't try to make any qualms about it. Shows what the crowd looks like. Gives a nice little surge around the whole thing. And this was the town hall meeting. Just a town hall, not even a rally. Now, if you didn't watch that last night, it was actually pretty typical Trump. He showed up and said, I had no idea. I thought this was a campaign rally. They told me at the last minute that it was going to be a town hall meeting. So here I am for a town hall thing. He answered a few questions, gave the same Trump speech that he keeps giving, hasn't changed. Same thing he says over and over, no different than what Camel Toe says. Same speech over and over again. This is politics. But yeah, this is what it looked like. Same size building. And you notice they don't have any black curtains up there. There's no black curtains up in the very top. None at all. It's weird how they managed to do that. They don't put any of those black curtains up at that rally. But this one here, they've got black curtains up everywhere. Hardly anybody sitting up in the upper seats. They turn the camera down. See right there? So right there, you'll see up here. Nobody up in this area. Nobody up here. There's nobody up here. And they've got the big black curtains over here shielding that area off. I'll mute that and we'll keep going here. And you notice that as soon as they get zoomed in a little bit, you've got nobody down here, nobody over here, nobody there. And there's your spot up here in the curtains. All these people right here, hardly anybody there. And of course, people are probably still coming in. Shizzy was up with MG Expert Baker until 2 a.m. No, it wasn't 2 a.m. It was like 1:30 or something. Happy birthday to your brother, Star Z. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Star Z's brother. That's awesome. Captain Kern, happy birthday to your wife. I must have misread. Thank you for the correction. Oh, happy birthday, Captain Kern's wife. That's pretty damn awesome. Yeah, make sure that you give a little love there, Captain Kern and his wife. Now, her their talk, it really does fall quite a bit around this. Quite a bit around this right here. And you'll see that the failures are constant. Just absolutely constant, that they have nothing good to say. This gives them an enthusiasm edge they did not have earlier this year. What enthusiasm edge? Earlier this year, Campbell Toe wasn't running for presidency, right? She was running for vice president again. Republicans' enthusiasm increased by much less over the same period. Except after they shot Donald Trump. Weird, huh? And about 2/3 of Republicans now say they are more enthusiastic about voting. They're fired up because they're just like, we really don't want this person there. At a packed arena for Rally Thursday, ha ha ha, that's such a laugh. Harris cast her nasally campaign as the underdog and encouraged the crowd to work hard to elect her in November. We are here to speak truth, and one of the things that we know that the truth is what it's got to be, because we're so truthful. It's going to be a tight race to the end, but it's not. It's not going to be a tight race to the end. It hasn't been a tight race at all. They're losing miserably. Definitely. It's the sound of sirens. Now, it's pretty easy to debunk all of the crap that they're saying. I mean, I could sit here and do an entire show on it. I did last night. There's no point. They're losing. Get out there, vote. Whether you vote left, whether you vote right, get out there and vote and show them what the American population is able and capable of doing by putting in, someone that's competent. We're here to speak truth. One of the things we know is going to be the truth and tied to the race. Ian Harris went through a list of Democrat concerns. But these are, you can't brag on change if you don't have it. Trump will restrict women's rights, which is a lie. After he appointed 3 judges to the Supreme Court, which is a lie. That he'd repeal the Affordable Care Act, that's a lie. And given the new immunity powers granted presidents in the U.S. Supreme Court, and that's a lie. It's nothing new. There's nothing new about the immunity powers of the president. And they made it very clear that going after Donald Trump in such a way is wrong. It's wrong. And they know. You know how you know it's wrong? Because they're losing. Democrats sue to block Georgia rules as they warn will block finalization of election results. Now, this was put out on the 26th, and I know I'm a few days late getting it out there, but hey, the state National Democrat Party sued Monday to block 2 recent rules adopted by Georgia's state election board that could be used by county officials who want to refuse to certify an election, potentially causing delays in finalizing results. That's not what it does. The lawsuit filed before the state judge in Atlanta, why don't you talk about the actual bill that was signed instead of the suit that you're filing? Rule argues the rules violate a state law that makes certification a mandatory duty. Then you've already lost, because it does. It's still a duty, and they still want to follow it through, but they also want to make sure that it's completely confirmed before they just make up shit and throw it out there. The actions of the board alarm Democrats because, well, they're not allowed to get away with the shady crap that they did last year. You don't have water leaks in Fulton County. You're not going to be, whenever you do a recount, you're not just going to be recounting the ones that, like a portion of them. Yeah, that happened. Playing out against Georgia's background of a partisan struggle over voting procedures that predates even the 2020 election. Because Democrats have lost. There's a reason why they're fighting so hard for these. King Paco doing fine. How are you? Since we've We're talking politics. We should demand the ban of shredded cheese and make America great again. Damn right, Stephen Werner. Be beautiful. The lawsuit says the rules invite post-election chaos. The board is defying state law that says county officials shall certify results, and they're still going to certify results. Nothing different there. According to the drafters, these rules rest on the assumption that certification of election results by a county board is discretionary and subject to free-range inquiry that may delay certification or foreclose it entirely. But that's not the law in Georgia. States the lawsuit. According to the drafters, listen again, these rules rest on the assumption that certification of election results by a county board is discretionary. Republicans argue the rules just reinforce a county's election board existing duty to thoroughly examine election results, noting each board member must swear an oath to compile true and perfect, because if they don't, then it's called perjury. Then they will go to jail. These common sense changes will benefit all Georgians. Will benefit all Georgians, regardless of political affiliation, as they are designed to increase transparency, public confidence regarding our elections. Trio of Republican partisans aligned with Trump took control of the 5-member board earlier this year. You make it sound like it was some sort of takeover. It wasn't. They were elected in by the people. They don't have any role in determining election results, just how the votes are counted. That's all it is. So there's really nothing to see here in this story, because they want to sue because they know that they have to do it now because it's already too late. So while you're looking with one eye, they're doing something with the other. But on better news, Musk is having a fight. What's this fight about? Brazilian judge could suspend X. Well, how is he going to suspend X? You want to know how he's going to suspend X? In Brazil, mind you. Well, let's talk about it here. Sao Paulo. It's a showdown between the world's richest man and a Brazilian Supreme Court justice. The Justice Alexandre de Moraes has threatened to suspend social media giant X nationwide if its billionaire Elon Musk doesn't swiftly comply with one of the orders. Musk has responded with insults, mockery, and other such memes, including calling Moraes a tyrant and a dictator. In the latest chapter of the months-long feud between the two men over free speech, what? Far-right accounts? No, it's a feud over free speech. Many in Brazil are waiting and watching to see if either man will blink. No. Never give up your integrity. So what's the basis for Moraes' threat? Well, earlier this month, they removed their legal representative from Brazil on the grounds that Moraes threatened her with arrest. Yeah, you heard that right. Her. On Wednesday night at 8:07 p.m. local time, or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, de Moraes gave the platform 24 hours to appoint a new representative or face a shutdown until his order was met. De Moraes' order is based on a Brazilian law that requires foreign companies to have legal representation to operate in the country, according to the Supreme Court's press office. This ensures someone can be notified of legal decisions and is qualified to take any requisite action. But if you're going to be arrested for making that action, then you say, no, you're not going to arrest my people. I'm pulling everybody out of there. And that's the way that it's going to be. Not doing anything. X refusal to appoint legal representative would be particularly problematic ahead of Brazil's October municipal elections. With a churn of fake news expected, says Luca Belli, coordinator of the Technology and Society Center at the Gutello Vargas Foundation University in Rio de Janeiro, takedown orders are common during campaigns. And what did Trump say? Nope. I'm not taking it down. This is my business. This is my company, and it's going to continue to be shown. If you don't like it, then put a block on it. You can do that in countries. You can actually block people from seeing it. But it goes worse. It gets worse than this. And not having someone to receive legal notice would make timely compliance impossible. Until last week, 10 days ago, there was an office here, so the problem didn't exist. Now there's nothing. Look at the example of Telegram. Telegram doesn't have an office here. It has about 50 employees in the whole world, but it has a legal representative, Belli, who is also a professor at the University Law School, told the AP. Well, what does a law school professor have to do with this? Absolutely nothing. I don't think Trump likes, I don't think Musk likes being threatened. Just saying. So this is the Judge Morass. Yeah, that's the judge. That's your judge. Does a single judge really have that much power? Any Brazilian judge has the authority to enforce compliance with decisions. Such measures can range from lenient sanctions like fines to severe penalties, such as suspension, said Carlos Afonso Souza, a lawyer and director for the Institute of Technology and Society, a Rio-based think tank. Lone Brazilian judges shut down Meta's WhatsApp, which was the nation's most widely used messaging app, several times in 2015 and 2016 due to the company's refusal to comply with police requests for user data. Wow, I'm pretty impressed. Meta didn't give out their users' data. De Moraes threatened the messaging app Telegram with nationwide shutdown, arguing he repeatedly ignored Brazilian authorities' request to block profiles and provide information. That sounds to me very, very dictatorish, doesn't it? He ordered Telegram to appoint a local representative. The company ultimately complied and, of course, then stayed online because they usually do. Afonso Souza said that an individual judge's ruling to shut down a platform with so many users would likely be assessed at a later date by the Supreme Court's full bench. Would likely. But by then it's too late. You've quieted it, people don't know what's going on, and your country starts to fall into more ruins. De Moraes would first notify nation's telecommunications regulator, Anatel, who would then instruct operators, including Musk's own Starlink internet service provider, to suspend users' access to X. Weird, huh? That includes preventing the resolution of X's website, the term for conversion of domain name to an IP address, and blocking access to an IP address of servers from inside Brazilian territory, according to Belli. And that right there would be a really bad idea for them to do that. Because if all of a sudden X was shut down in Brazil because they were saying it was due to misinformation, disinformation, that just tells the Brazilian people what exactly they're hiding. So he sort of got their back against a wall. Given that operators are aware of the widely publicized standoff of their obligation to comply with an order from de Moraes, plus the fact doing so isn't complicated, X could be offline in Brazil as early as 12 hours after receiving their instructions. Since X is widely accessed via mobile phones, de Moraes is likely to notify major app stores to stop offering X in Brazil said Afonso Souza. Another possible but highly controversial step would be prohibiting access with virtual private networks or VPNs and imposing fines on those who use them to access X. Has X been shut down in other countries? Yeah. Twitter, X and its former incarnation, Twitter, are banned in several countries, mostly authoritarian regimes such as Russia, China, Iran, Myanmar, North Korea, Venezuela, and Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan? I've never heard Turkmenistan. China banned X when it was still called Twitter back in 2009, along with Facebook. In Russia, authorities expanded their crackdown on dissent and free media after Russian Putin sent troops into Ukraine in February of 2022. They have blocked multiple independent Russian language media outlets critical of the Kremlin and cut access to Twitter, as well as Meta, Facebook, and Instagram. In 2009, Twitter became an essential communications tool in Iran after the country's government crackdown on traditional media after a disputed presidential election. Tech-savvy Iranians took to Twitter to organize protests. The government subsequently banned the platform along with Facebook. You see what's coming, right? What do you think happens whenever there's unrest in the United States? Your communications is the first thing to be taken down. Just note, first thing that you take out if you're going to wage a war, communication. Weird how that works, isn't it? In other countries such as Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt have also suspended before, usually to quell dissent and unrest. See where I'm going with this, right? Starting to understand how quick and capable they can do this. What happens on places like YouTube? What happens to places like Rumble? What happens to places like True Social? What happens to all of your communications if they just start blocking it? The apps start blocking it. They take control of your phone. If you think that your phone is secure, your VPN, right? You think you can bypass these security features with a VPN? Oh, silly white boy. Why is Brazil so important to X and to Musk? Brazil is a key market for X and other platforms. Some 40 million. That's it. Just 40 million. Sorry. 40 million Brazils, roughly 1/5 of the population. Access X at least once per month, according to the market research group eMarketer, whatever. Don't care. Doesn't matter. Because he says that he's a free speech absolutist and claimed Morass's actions amount to censorship and rallied support from Brazil's political right. He also said that he wants his platform to be the global town square, where information flows freely. If you don't like the information, then turn it off. That easy. You just reach over there and go, I'm not looking. If you want to have the blinders on, then put the blinders on. If you don't want to know the truth, then don't look at the truth. If you don't care to hear somebody else's opinion, then don't listen. Really easy. The loss of the Brazilian market, the world's fourth biggest democracy, would make achieving this goal more difficult. No, it wouldn't. It would point out all that much more the need for it. It would point out that much more for the need for it, and people would go bonkers demanding to have it back. Of course, they would return service back after the unrest was done, which Trump, I'm sure, is just, or Biden, Jesus. Musk is saying, sure, go ahead. Brazil is also has a potentially huge growth market for Musk's satellite company, Starlink, but that's completely different. That is completely different. Late Thursday afternoon, Starlink said on X that de Moraes this week froze its finances, preventing it from doing any transactions in the country where it has more than 250,000 customers. So, you know what that means? You know what that means? That they won't do any transactions with Starlink doesn't mean that Starlink gets shut down. I mean, they have the capability of turning off any sort of access to it, but here's the problem that they'll run into is it's a satellite. You can't cut service to it. They won't be able to cut service to Starlink. Those satellites will continue to go over and they'll still continue to have service. And that right there would drive Brazil nuts because anybody that already has their Starlink connectors would be able to get free internet access and they would be able to find out what's actually going on in their country. That's 250,000 customers. Nowhere near the 40 million. But once they see that it's been cut off, all he has to do is on every Starlink channel as those satellites are cruising across and they're able to get internet service, is he can put out on every single channel the garbage that they're pulling in that country. Weird, but he could do that because it's his damn company. And he would do it for free. This order is based on the unfounded determination that Starlink should be responsible for the fines levied unconstitutionally against X. It was issued in secret without affording Starlink any due process of law guaranteed by the Constitution of Brazil. We intend to address that matter legally. This is what Starlink said. Musk replied to the people sharing the earlier reports of the freeze, adding his own insults directed at Morass. This guy is an outright criminal of the worst kind, masquerading as a judge. And of course, Dean Morass's defenders have said his actions have been lawful, supported by most of the court's full bench, and have served to protect democracy, mob rule, at a time which is imperiled. In April, Morass included Musk as a target in an ongoing investigation over the dissemination of fake news and opened a separate investigation into the executive for alleged obstruction. Will X appoint a new legal representative in Brazil? Well, X Thursday in a statement that it expects its service to be shut down in Brazil. So, no. And he says, unlike other social media and technology platforms, we will not comply in secret with illegal orders. To our users in Brazil and around the world, X remains committed to protecting your freedom of speech. He also said de Morass colleagues on the Supreme Court are either unwilling or unable to stand up to him. Wild how that works. Wild stuff indeed. And of course, we've got more politics. Harris isn't backing away from Biden's democracy as she's putting her own spin on it. Hooray! And then before dropping his bid before re-election, Joe Biden framed the voters' choice in November in dark and ominous terms, painting Republicans as a menace to American democracy. Yeah, and she hasn't changed. It's no different than what we saw before. Again, carry the water. Carry the water. And it's going to remain like that quite some time. And then, of course, Ukraine says one of its Western donated. I don't think it was wait, we donated? I don't remember approving that. I keep hearing this. The U.S. keeps supporting Ukraine. U.S. has always been supportive of Ukraine. No. So you have politicians that are very supportive of Ukraine because it makes them a lot of damn money. Ukraine says one of its Western donated F-16 warplanes has crashed. One of the handful of F-16 warplanes that Ukraine has received from its Western partners to help fight a Russia invasion has crashed, Ukraine's Army General Staff said Thursday. The pilot died. Fighter jet went down on Monday when Russia launched a major missile and drone barrage at Ukraine. The military statement posted on Facebook said 4 of those Russian missiles were shot down by F-16s. Oh, is the ghost of Kyiv back again? Ah, man. The crash was the first reported loss of an F-16 in Ukraine, where they arrived at the end of last month. At least 6 of the warplanes are believed to have been delivered. The Defense Ministry has opened an investigation into the crash. The plane was up in the air. The plane was no longer up in the air. Probably shut down by a man with a BB gun. We will crush them. We will destroy them. We will make them pay. They shall pay. Try that again. Not sure. Only able to comment to a few people. If you can't fly it, don't touch it. That's right. Wallstorm has it right. If you can't fly it, don't touch it. What? You having issues? I got to set his alarm. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm doing just fine. Even if I manage to keep your comms working, you have to have someone to communicate with, or there's no point, right? Yeah, very true. Very true. So what? I could just still turn it off. Holy cow. Yeah. I know that's sorry. I'm a little slow catching up with chat there. 4 of these Russian missiles were shot down by F-16s. I just don't believe that. The Ukrainian Air Force, in a Facebook post, identified the pilot as Colonel Alexei Moonfish. Moonfish Mess, who saved Ukrainians from Russian deadly missiles, fortunately at the cost of your own life. Moonfish and fellow pilot Andrei Juice. So Moonfish and Juice, huh? Being slow, he must need a refill on coffee. You know what? That is right. I think you're right, Sir Frank Otter. Let's do that. Let's grab some fresh damn coffee. I'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes with some fresh damn coffee. Thank you, Sir Frank Otter. That's what we're going to do. Coffee.
Sandy shores, get a tan, Rambo the orangutan. Driving a golf cart, oh man, Rambo is half crazy, yes he can. Well, that SOB's a sight to F and see. Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these 2 are having an effing blast. Whoa, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these 2 are having an effing blast. Shizzy on the tunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is, well, that is too dirty to say here. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is that is too dirty to say here, Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these 2 are having an effing blast.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I feel much better now. Got that coffee nice and warm. That'll wake you up. Also getting the legs moving, that really helps out too. Morning Star. Hey Miami, what is up, girl? Good morning. Another money gathering exercise. Last time Zelensky shook his charity pot, him and his wife, and they had a wonderful holiday. I bet they did. It's about time they get out there and do some more of that, you know. It's been what? Just a few weeks. And of course, that's what I find funny is this little is why Russia has struggled to halt Ukraine's incursion into the Kursk region, and a Russian missile hits the Ukrainian president's home city as it mourns the deaths in an earlier attack. Like, what? So what? They're halting, but yet they're able to do damage. Like, I'm wondering. I have to read that one a little bit more because I didn't know that. When I met with Ukraine pilots Juice and Moonfish, I had sick feeling that they wouldn't make it through the war. Former U.S. Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Isn't that the guy that was crying? Isn't that the guy that was sitting there and crying like a little child during the January 6th trials? Or no, it was what they called the insurrection, the impeachment hearing against Trump. He was crying like a little bitch. Isn't that the guy? Isn't that the same guy? I'm pretty sure that's who it is. Pretty sure that, he got all teary-eyed. I'm pretty sure this is the same guy. I have to double check. Yeah, it's the little bitch. Yeah, Adam Kinzinger. He's a little bitch that cried like a little bitch. Mm-hmm. I thought that's who it was. You remember? I guess you don't know this, but there was a certain little Austrian artist that was supported highly in the United States. He was written all about, inside the New York Times. He was praised and lauded by certain politicians. Even congratulated on what a wonderful thing he was doing in his country. Mm-hmm. Hell, we even had the Olympics in that damn country. Imagine that. That's where a certain runner was never looked good upon. Remember that. Mm-hmm. Earlier Thursday, Russia conducted a heavy aerial attack on Ukraine for the third time in 4 days, again launching missiles and scores of drones that mostly were intercepted, but not all of them. Russian forces fired 5 missiles and 74 drones at Ukraine targets in Air Force. An Air Force statement said air defense stopped 2 missiles and 60 drones. And 14 other drones presumably fell before reaching their target, probably because they ran out of gas or something like that. Good morning. Authorities at the capital of Kyiv said debris of destroyed drones fell in 3 districts of the city, causing minor damage to civilian infrastructure but no injury. Russians' relentless and unnerving long-range strikes on civilian areas have been a feature of the war since it invaded its neighbor in February of 2022. Belgium, Denmark, and Netherlands, and Norway. All NATO members have committed to providing Ukraine with more than 60 of the planes. That number is dwarfed by the Russian jet fighter fleet, which is around 10 times larger. So they have 60 planes, Russia has 600. Probably more than that. I would venture to say, if you're saying that they have, that's this has to be just one jet fighter fleet. If they only have 600 planes, that's pretty small for a country that size. Because I'm curious of let me see. I just have to do a quick search. How many F-16s does America have? Just curious. How many F-16s does America have? The United States Air Force. Let's see. As of 2023, the United States Air Force operates 841 F-16. The United States Air Force has received a total of 2,231 F-16 F-16 since the aircraft went into service. The F-16 is the most common fixed-wing aircraft military service worldwide, with more than 2,000 still in active use. It has the largest inventory of F-16s. So what? How many does Russia have? Maybe they're just talking about F-16s in Russia. I'm thinking if I look up what is it, the MiG? How many MiGs does Russia have? Just curious. Let's see. As of 2024, the Russian aerospace forces have 253 and MiG-29s and the MiG-35s in service, and the Russian naval aviation has 22 MiG-29s. MiG-29 is the fifth most common active aircraft, with an estimated 809 in service. As of 2016, the Armed Forces has 247 of the MiG-31B, MiG-31BS, MiG-31BM, BM, MiG-J. So they just have another 400. The Russian Defense Ministry originally planned to order 37 MiG-35s, but the number was reduced to 24 in 2017. The first MiG-35s were delivered in 2019, and reports suggest the aircraft is now being used in war. So they don't have as many as they say. That's what they're saying. But they're saying they have 70 MiG-29s and 247 MiG-31s. So it's not even 6 times the amount. But as far as Russia has over 100 of aircraft, as well as around 12 MiG-31Ks, while a significant number of MiG-31s are in storage and could come out of storage if they needed to. So I think they're more of a land war kind of place. Just saying. They may do a lot less with their Air Force. Of course, you have to have pilots to fly them. So if you're looking at a MiG-16, that means you have to have at least, if each one of them is going to be in a plane, then you have to have 120 pilots. And that doesn't include like your ground crew and all that kind of neat stuff, your mechanics that have to keep those operational, which is it would be a daily basis. It's not like you can just park the airplane and not work on it kind of thing. Yeah, that's an expensive tool. I'm just curious how much does an M16 or what is it, a F16 cost? What is the cost of an F16? Just curious. Just always, I always wonder these things. Now you see how my brain works. So an F16 over the years, with early variants selling for 13 million, later variants started selling for 25 to 30. The latest is selling for around 70 million. So if you put this together with what we're doing already, so if they've got, what is it, 70 million? 70 million, 1, 2, 3, 70 million. There's 70 million times 60 equals, that's $4,200,000,000. So $4,200,000 just in the cost of purchasing the F-16. And what is the cost for maintenance? The cost for maintenance. Maintenance for F-16. This is what will blow your mind away. For an F-16, the cost of maintenance for the F-16 Fighting Falcon fighter costs around $2,700 per flight hour. It requires 16 hours of maintenance per flight hour. The F-16 is a multi-role fighter that can be used in European Air Forces. It's considered one of the most difficult U.S. Air Force planes to maintain. So, if it costs per flight hour Huh. Yeah, you're looking at billions. More billions. They have it calculated up per plane for the purchase and upkeep over the life of the plane being used. Mm-hmm. No, that's just the purchase of the plane. Of course, I could be wrong. I don't know. Have a great day, everyone. See y'all soon. You take care, Miami. I'll see you tonight. Me and my evil laugh. I try with it. Moonshet and a fellow Ukraine pilot, Juice, made an early public visit and blah, blah, blah. Authorities in the capital Kyiv said 3 of the destroyed drones fell in 3 districts. Biden granted authorization in 2023 for the U.S. built warplanes to be sent to Ukraine. That came after months of pressure from Kyiv, an internal debate in the U.S. administration where officials feared the move could escalate tensions with Russia, which it did, because then they went into Russia and attacked. Now they walked in there and attacked Russia. F-16s can fly up to twice the speed of sound and have a maximum range of more than 2,000 miles. They can also fire modern weapons used by NATO countries. Ukrainian officials have recently become more vocal in their long-standing insistence that Western countries, you must give us power. The war effort could scrap restrictions on what Ukraine is allowed to target inside Russia and long-range weapons they have provided. You think that he gives 2 craps about that. All our partners should be more active, much more active in countering Russian terror. We continue to insist that their determination now lifting up the restriction on long-range missile strikes for Ukraine now will help us end the war as soon as possible in a fair way for Ukraine and the world as a whole. The European Union's top diplomat Thursday backed Zelensky's push for international backers to end their limits. And isn't it Germany that's supporting Zelensky a lot? Really weird how that works. A little Austrian artist goes into Ukraine, which was part of Russia at the time, or takes it over, rapes the women, the horses, and then whenever he leaves a lot of those same people there, and now Germany supporting him again. Just saying, you guys don't have a really good history. I don't know. Ukraine has deployed domestically produced drones to strike at Russia. The Russian military said Thursday it thwarted an overnight attack on Crimea. Yeah. The Russian Defense Ministry said its forces destroyed 3 Ukraine Sea drones aimed at the Black Sea peninsulas in Moscow and from Ukraine in 2014. The Russian installed Governor Cesspool Mikhail Rovnichev added that 4 Ukraine aerial drones and 3 sea drones were destroyed. A significant distance. In the meantime, Ukraine's Army General Staff acknowledged Thursday's Ukraine involvement in strikes this week in oil depots deep inside Russia, where blazes broke out. The attacks on the Rostov and Kirov regions were part of Ukraine's effort to disrupt logical infrastructure supporting Russia's war machine. Russia, it will bring you down. War, more war, more war. Trump asked a federal court intervene on a case to bid to toss conviction, delay sentencing. Now this must be the one that's happening in New York. Yeah. Donald Trump asked a federal court late Thursday to intervene in his New York case, seeking a pathway to overturn his conviction and indefinitely delay the sentencing for next month. Lawyers for the Republican nominee asked the federal court in Manhattan to seize the case from the state court where it was tried, arguing that the historic prosecution violated his constitutional rights and ran afoul of the U.S. Supreme Court's recent presidential immunity ruling. I don't think that's what they filed, but could be. Trump's lawyers, who failed last year in a pretrial bid to get the case shifted to federal court, said moving it now will give him an unbiased forum free from local hostilities to address those issues in the state court. Trump has been a victim of bias, conflicts of interest, and appearances of impropriety. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Sounds really familiar. And if this case is moved to federal court, Trump's lawyers said they will seek to have the verdict overturned and the case dismissed on immunity grounds, and the case in the state court and Trump's sentencing proceedings as scheduled on September 18th, about 7 weeks before Election Day. Yes, no, it gives the appearance that this is a political scam. This is a political attack. That's all it is. And it's very clear that this has been political from the get-go. Do you think they would have brought this against him if he would have not run? Who else were they going to put in there to run? If the case remains in the state court and Trump's sentencing proceeds as scheduled on September 18th, about 7 weeks before Election Day, it would be election interference. Obviously. What do you say? 7:32 in the morning, been up for a bit, but just getting moving on your first cup of coffee. Just asked Sir Frank Honor. I'm a whirlwind in the chat, in and out as you multitask, always listening. Lovely daisies. Trump's request Thursday is poised to be decided by the same Manhattan federal judge who rejected his earlier bid to move the case, a decision that cleared the way for his trial in a state court. The ongoing proceedings will continue to cause direct and irreparable harm to President Trump, the leading candidate in the 2024 election, and voters located far beyond Manhattan. Trump lawyers Todd Blanche, Emily Bove wrote in a 64-page U.S. District Court filing. And I'm not going to read through that. No. After reading through the 45 pages of the special agent that was after Fartwell, no, I'm not doing it. Of course, it probably would be more entertaining, as I was not entertained at all by Fartwell. No. Trump was convicted in May of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records relating to conceal a $130 money payment to Stormy Daniels. No, you made this shit up. That's the part about it. You made it up and then you prosecute him for it. Like, you went after his attorney and he was tried for it, and then you basically went after Trump, saying that he knew all about it. That's all it was. So, and I didn't. And they didn't prove their case. That's the worst part about it. But it's New York. That's why he wanted to move it out of New York. Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, paid Daniels and was later reimbursed by Trump, which is a lie. If Cohen paid Daniels, that was on him. Trump was paying him just like he would have paid him any other time. The company logged the reimbursement as legal expenses. No, because he was paying legal expenses. Not reimbursement if you're paying legal expenses. In the course of business, if an attorney is being paid by their client, that right there is business expense. Trump maintains that the stories are false, that reimbursements were for legal work, and they were logged correctly. And that case against him was part of a politically motivated witch hunt aimed at damaging his current campaign, which I think has emboldened his campaign. And of course, they say falsifying business records is punishable by up to 4 years behind bars. Other potential sentences included probation or a fine. But he's saying, I didn't. This was normal business that we were conducting. This was for legal work that he was doing. Wasn't being paid anything extra or extraordinary. Even if Trump's case isn't moved to federal court, ensuing legal wrangling could force his sentencing to be delayed, giving him a critical reprieve as he navigates the aftermath of this criminal conviction and the home stretch of the run for the White House. Trump is the first ex-president to be convicted of a crime. Well, because, they did what they needed to with Nixon, right? He did drop out. Separately, the trial judge, Juan Merchan, is weighing Trump's request to postpone sentencing until after Election Day and overturn the verdict and dismiss the case in the wake of the Supreme Court's immunity decision. And Merchan has said, screw you. Mm-hmm. The court's ruling, July 1st ruling, reins in prosecutions of ex-presidents for official acts and restricts prosecutors from pointing to official acts as evidence that a president's unofficial actions were illegal. Trump's lawyers have argued that prosecutors rushed to trial instead of waiting for the Supreme Court's immunity decision, and that the trial was tainted by evidence that should not have been allowed during the ruling. Such a former White House staffer describing how he reacted to the news coverage of the trial. He sent tweets while he was president in 2018. Trump's lawyers had previously invoked presidential immunity in a failed bid last year to get the case moved from state to federal court. U.S. District Court Helen Stinger rejected the claim that allegations in the money indictment involving official duties, writing July 23, the evidence overwhelmingly suggests that the matter was purely a personal item of the president, a cover-up of an embarrassing event. Without proof. No proof. Money paid to an adult film star is not related, but here's the thing. She's being sued for defamation. She lied about the payments. Yeah, Avenatti was representing her during that. Trump's lawyers argued in Thursday the filing the circumstances had changed since they initially attempted to get the case moved to federal court. Among other things, they said state prosecutors had misled the court by saying earlier that the trial wouldn't involve Trump's official duties or actions as president. But they're doing it anyway. Merchan is poised to incarcerate a president in the final weeks of the campaign. He has maintained unwarranted, unconstitutional prior restraint on his ability to respond to political attacks by criticizing the New York County proceedings, which is also true. Yeah, that right there is exactly what happened. Not sure if I can show this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Germany, in a way of protecting their borders, they deported Afghan nationals to their homeland on Friday for the first time since August 2021, when the Taliban returned to power. Government spokesperson Stefan Heberschnitt described the 28 Afghan nationals as convicted criminals, but did not immediately respond to a request for comment to clarify the offenses. The Interior Ministry, Nancy Fraser, whatever, called a move a security issue for Germany. Germany does not have diplomatic relations with the Taliban, requiring the government to work through other channels. It is unlikely that Friday's action will lead to a wider thawing of relations between Germany and come Mr. Taliban, tally my banana. Especially after last week's issuing of the first set of laws to prevent vice and promote virtue in Afghanistan. They include requirement for a woman to conceal her face, body, and voice outside the home. In other words, don't be seen, don't be heard, and hide that ugly bean sprout of a face. I don't know, I'm just joking. I wouldn't know what you look like underneath a burqa. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock has slammed the morality laws imposed on X. While Heberschnitt's and the deportations have been works for months, they occurred a week after a deadly knife attack in the town of Solingen, where the suspect is a Syrian citizen who applied for asylum in Germany. The suspect was supposed to be deported to Bulgaria last year, but reportedly disappeared for a time and avoided deportation. He was ordered held on Sunday on suspicion of murder and membership in a terrorist organization, pending further investigation and possible indictment. Now, think about this. You don't really pay too much attention. Is it under her burqa? Is it under the burqa? Yeah. Magic. Magically delicious. Is it under the burqa? Is she under here? Is she under this burqa? Which burqa is it? Here, let's move the burqas around. Is it under burqa 1, 2, or 3? Which one is missing their head? It's this one. Ha ha! You owe me money. We'll take it from you. Oh my. Good morning, Buck. They have to accommodate the Secret Service in the cell block. Yeah. Yeah. I hope they have to also. That would, here's the thing though. I honestly believe that you could probably put Donald Trump into Gen Pop, and they would have his back, and not in a bad way. I'm serious. I honestly believe that you could put Donald Trump in general population, and they wouldn't do it. I mean, there would be some fool that would try. They'd probably get the beat down before they could get there. But could you imagine him? He'd just be hanging back, sitting down, talking with these guys. Oh, you'd see some prison reform then. It would be really, really hilarious is if he starts serving his time after he becomes president. Just has to be there inside the jailhouse. All of his speeches, every single time that he has to do a speech, they have to have cameras there for him. And you got the fools in the back, just like throwing gang signs and crap. Oh, that would be hilarious. They have to set up like his own little Resolute desk inside of a jail cell. Oh. No, he wouldn't hook up with the white nation. Why would he do that? He would just hang out. Everybody would want to be shaking hands with him, asking him questions. Man, he would have an unfettered audience. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I could actually imagine him doing all of his duties from a jail cell. Maybe that's why he has to have Vance in there. So if he's incarcerated for 3 of the 4 years, I would bet you anything that he would run that damn place. And prison reform after he got out would change. Oh God, he would change so much shit. Anyhow, so the Islamic State group claimed responsibility for last Friday's attack without providing evidence. The extremist group said on its news site that the attacker targeted Christians and that he carried out assaults to avenge the Muslims in Palestine and everywhere. The claim could not be independently verified. Well, of course. It's not like you can send them an email. That's not how these guys operate. There has also been a debate over illegals ahead of the regional elections Sunday in Germany, Saxony, and Thuringia regions, where the anti-immigration parties such as the Populist Alternative for Germany are expected to do well. June, Chancellor Olaf Scholz, I'm not even going to try, vowed that the country would start deporting criminals from Afghanistan and Syria again after a knife attack by an Afghani illegal left 1 police officer dead and 4 more people injured. Do you think that's not happening currently in the United States? You don't think that there might be some people getting through that shouldn't be here? Out of all those millions that have been crossing, you don't think there's a couple of sleepers that they have no idea where they are? It just makes you wonder. Pfizer on Thursday announced a plan to tighten knife laws. What? Okay. No more cutting your beef. You must chew your whole cow with your teeth. Oh my God. We no longer do it. We will only do we no longer will we be cutting a beef too big to put on a spit. It's all pork. That's what you do. All you have to do is ban beef in Germany. That's all. If you want to see things change, ban beef. Just say no more beef. No more chicken. It's all pork all the time. Oh, no, not even vegetables. It has to be pork salad, eggs and bacon. No, not even eggs. You can't even have eggs with your bacon. It has to be straight up bacon. I mean, the national food for Germany, I guarantee you, if you make it bacon, the national food for Germany, ooh, they'd be so angry. Racist. Oh. According to German news agency DPA, along with other officials in the governing coalition, she also pledged during a news conference to make deportations easier. What could be easier than kicking someone out of your country for being there illegally? I don't know. Ask here in the United States. They seem to be having problems with it somehow. Pfizer, Julia Dushkow, Secretary General of Amnesty International Germany, blasted the Afghans' deportations in a statement Friday, saying the government bowed to political pressure during election campaign. She added that Afghanistan is not safe and alleged that the deportations violate international law. What about? Wait a second. How could they violate international law whenever every country is sovereign of its own will? Sounds to me like the globalists really want to make sure that you can only do so much. Coming to take your kids. Yeah. This right here is a globalist agenda. Good to know that Amnesty International is a globalist group. Because since when does anyone have the right to tell that country what they can or can't do? Yeah, he could pardon himself even if he was in jail when elected. He won't be going to jail though. Yeah, I know that. What is currywurst? I don't know what currywurst is. That's weird. Wait, are they insinuating that Islamic Republic of Afghanistan isn't safe? Bigots. You think? Maybe because those, well, probably safer than others. I'm interested in seeing how they're going to try to spin that, because I talked about this yesterday. Wonder if how they're going to try to spin this. I'm hesitant about talking about it because it's touchy and probably going to piss a few people off, including me. When the U.S. left Kabul, these Americans tried to help Afghans behind, and it still haunts them. The United States' longest war is over, but not for everyone. Outside of San Francisco, surgeon Dung Chin has helped provide medical assistance to people in Afghanistan via video calls. He's helped Afghan families with their day-to-day living expenses, yet he remains haunted by the people that he could not save. Long Beach, California Special Forces Tom Kaza put aside medical school to help Afghans to use to search for landmines escaped to America. That can mean testifying to Congress, writing newsletters, and asking for donations. In rural Virginia, Mariah Smith housed an Afghan family of 4 that she'd never met who had fled Kabul and needed a place to stay as they navigated their new life in America. But what about the ones that they couldn't get out? Smith, Kaza, and Chen have counterparts scattered across the country, like-minded people they may have never heard of. The war in Afghanistan officially ended August 26th 2021 and left it in an absolute shambles with thousands dead, more hunted down, 13 American soldiers lost. And whenever they say the last plane departed, the last plane has not departed Afghanistan. Those planes are still there. The helicopters, the tanks, the weapons, the money, all of it is still there. What remains is a dedicated array of Americans, often working in isolation or in small grassroots networks, who became committed to helping the allies that helped the United States before the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris horribly ended their existence there. And the 3 years since Biden and Harris pulled out, they pulled out, it was sort of like gave them a pink sock. Hundreds of people across the country, current and former military members, diplomats, intelligence officers, civilians from all walks of life, have been hunted down inside the borders of Afghanistan. That's the truth they don't want to tell you. They have assisted Afghans struggling through State Department bureaucracy to fill out form after form. They've sent food and rent money to families. They've fielded WhatsApp or Signal messages at all hours from Afghans pleading for help. They've welcomed those that have made it out of Afghanistan into their homes as they build new lives. For Americans involved in this ad hoc effort, the war has reverberated through their lives, weighing on their relationships, causing veterans to question their military service, and left ragged as a scar caused by a bullet or bomb. Most are tired, many are angry. They grapple with what it means for their nation that ordinary Americans, moved by compassion, gratitude, and by shame at what they considered Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's abandonment of countless Afghan allies, were the ones left to get those Afghans to safety. They struggle at how much more they have left to give. The troops failed Afghanistan and that last war. No, the troops didn't. Our politicians that put them there in the first place. Yeah, that's the problem. It's they want to say that it was the troops that failed. It was our current leaders that failed miserably. Oh, how we got here. The American mission in Afghanistan started with the goal of eradicating Al-Qaeda and going after the attacks from September 11th, 2001. But the mission morphed and grew over 2 decades. Yes, it did. Grew and morphed. Why? Because it was a war that should have never been started. Yeah, the U.S. has not been in a legal war since World War II. Gulf War. Here's the thing. They don't consider it the Gulf War. They consider it a conflict. Yeah. You also have to remember what was going on at the time and the lies that were being told by the State Department to the current, the president at that time. He was being told that there were weapons of mass destruction. That's what we went in there for in the first place. Which it looks like there were weapons of mass destruction, but they destroyed them all by using it on their own people. That's how it turned out. And then we left, and then we came back, and then September 11th happened and went into Afghanistan, went looking for people that were after that, and it just grew. It was like a really bad situation. But we're not going to go into that today. The mission morphed and grew over 2 decades. Every president inherited an evolving version of a war that no commander-in-chief wanted to lose, except for one, which was Donald Trump. He put together a plan to remove troops from the war in Afghanistan. That was his plan, to end that. If you would have had him elected for another 4 years, he would have left, and there would have been every single troop would have come home at the end of that, and he probably also would have had most of these Afghans removed from that were helping out the Americans and showing support for them. Prove me wrong. Would have, could have, should have, but it didn't happen. Joe Biden decided to pull out the U.S. military in a display of being a dumbass. The American mission was riddled with failures, and by early August, the Taliban had toppled the key cities because he had already said what he was going to do. He put a deadline on it instead of just quietly removing troops, because Biden needed to have a win, because he looked like a weak leader, as he currently does and has throughout his entire presidency. And he's going to be remembered always for this. Biden and Harris should be remembered always for their failure in Afghanistan. Always. They should not be given any slack, no quarter. With Afghanistan army largely collapsed, the Taliban rolled into Kabul, assumed control on August 15th. The Biden administration scrambled to evacuate staff, and they kept saying the whole time, there's nothing to worry about, there's nothing to worry about, there's nothing to worry about, there's nothing to worry about. That's what they were telling the American people. Biden administration officials recently described the chaos of those 3 weeks to the Associated Press, saying that it felt like nobody in the U.S. government was able to steer the ship because they couldn't. No one in the U.S. government was, because they were too busy destroying everything that their former predecessor did. Come hell or high water, let's do that, because that's always working out well for you. Carter wasn't a kid sniffer, that we know of. Yeah. One Biden administration official recently described that the U.S. government was not able to steer the ship. The Taliban had control of the capital. Tens of thousands of Afghans crowded the airport trying to get on one of the planes out. That's when this informal network was born. Past and current members of the U.S. military, State Department, U.S. intelligence services were all being besieged with messages begging for help from Afghans they'd worked with. Americans horrified about what they were seeing and knowing that they could not leave that base to bring people back, get them out of the country. We've all seen the pictures of men jumping on the wheels of the plane, hanging on for dear life, being dropped from hundreds of feet off the ground. We've all seen it. Veterans who served multiple tours in Afghanistan, civilians who never set foot there, all spent sleepless weeks working their telephones, fighting to get out every Afghan they could and to help those still trapped. Only thing I can think of was one of those civilians was Doug Chin, a plastic surgeon. That's funny. His name is Chin and he's a plastic surgeon. I find humor in that. Canada relies on U.S., right? No military. Yeah, Canada has military. Yeah, Canada does have a military. He became involved with a then Herat-based Afghan girls robotics team. So impressed was he with their mission that he joined their board and sometimes traveled to their international events. Then in August 2021, Taliban entered Herat. Eventually came the scenes out of Kabul airport. Mothers hoisting their children, throwing them over barbed wire. Men falling to their deaths as they clung to the bottom of departing planes. Chin working contacts worked to help the team, their extended family, staff, and others get on flight manifests, navigate checkpoints, and eventually escape Kabul. The work was so intense that he shut down his business for 3 months to focus on helping these Afghans. For a time, he was supporting dozens of people in Afghanistan. Now, 3 years later, his work is shifting. It's a matter of trying to get visas for Afghans so they can escape an educational visa to study in Europe, for example. He advocates for human rights advocates in Afghanistan, also helps provide medical services. Good for him. The only thing he can think of is the people that I haven't helped. So they talk about the special immigration under the Biden administration. The State Department has taken steps to streamline the process and boosted the number of special immigrant visas. So you cause a problem. You create a bad issue. You have to remember that during his administration, he sent more troops to Afghanistan. Yes, he was working with Obama. Yes, he was also a senator for his state. And yes, he is also one that supported going into the first Gulf War. He's one that wanted to go into the second Gulf War. These people are war hawks. They're all about war. And then all of a sudden, whenever it all fires on you and kicks you in the nuts, it's like, oh, well, I had no idea how this happened. It was my predecessor that caused it. Ah. Yeah. Canada has a military as far as I know. Always has, yeah. Well, quite some time. This right here is just sad. Yeah. Because there's people that are, like I said yesterday, they're still there. Yet they're trying to make Biden and Harris out to be something that they're not. Which they would send US troops back there and again, all over again. Oh, this is interesting. So there's something local that just came out, and I didn't know what this was. New York fans of politics have another way of keeping track of what's happening in the most competitive states in the country through a news service that collects and streams local newscasts. Swing State Election News, which began operation on Mondays. On Monday, let streamers choose from among 37 local television stations: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, the primary local affiliates of CBS, NBC, ABC, and Fox. Damn. So they've set up their own political propaganda machine. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time talking about Afghanistan. It just pisses me off. So if excuse me while I shift to something else that Canada has a military, but not so much an Air Force. However, their ground troops did write a lot of the Geneva Convention. Yeah. Ooh, cayenne, brown sugar. It's good. Nobody knows politics better than journalists in the local communities. Well, I don't trust anything that is an affiliate of any of the big four. Don't trust them. Viewers can choose between live and archive programming. Yeah, because they'll probably end up getting archived. Steam does not reveal how many people use the service, which is, I don't know why anybody would use something that's going to feed you political propaganda that's probably not true. But hey, you're welcome to do it. Behind you're ready to do it. You're able to. I don't even know where to go from here because I don't see anything that's even newsworthy. I really don't. I really don't, because everything that I'm seeing is basically just fluff. There's like no real news. That's Labor Day coming up. So, what to know about Labor Day? There you go. We'll cover a little bit of this because that's going to be wonderful. What to know about Labor Day and its history? Dallas, from barbecues to getaways to shopping sales. Many people across the U.S. mark Labor Day, the federal holiday, celebrating the American worker by finding ways to relax. I know what I'm going to be doing this weekend. This Labor Day weekend, I am tearing apart my front porch. I'm finishing out a bookshelf for my wife. It's a wall unit thing. Yeah. How did it become a federal holiday? Well, when activists first sought to establish a day to pay tribute to its workers, the first Labor Day celebration in the U.S. took place in New York City in 1882, when some 10,000 workers marched in a parade organized by the Central Labor Union and the Knights of Labor. Workers were seeing their quality of life decline as they don't transition, from artisan to factory jobs, even as the quality of life of factory owners was just skyrocketing. And Todd Vachon, an assistant professor at Rutgers School of Management and Labor Relations. Well, that's what Todd says. Is that true? Could be, maybe not. Haha. Laughs at me is just a stylistic puppet. In the years that follow, a handful of cities and states began to adopt these laws, recognizing it, and Grover Cleveland signed it into a congressional act in 1894, making it a federal holiday. That was the same year that workers for the Pullman Palace Car Company went on strike after a rail car maker cut wages without reducing rent in the company-owned town where workers lived near Chicago. Over 12 workers were killed after Cleveland sent federal troops to crush the strike. Cleveland's move to establish Labor Day as a federal holiday has seen some historians as a way for him to make peace with the working class after that. What do Americans do over Labor Day weekend? Oh, what do they do? Well, this year, I can tell you what a lot of Americans are going to be doing. Sitting at home, hoping to have a barbecue, because the cost of travel is going to be way too much for them to make it out of town. And it basically tells them all their hard work over the past year since the last Labor Day has been for naught. And the Labor Day before that, and the Labor Day before that, and the Labor Day before that. It's been for naught. Why has it been for naught? Well, because they can lock you in your home anytime and you will submit. You'll be fired from your job if you don't submit. That's what Labor Day you should be reminded of on this Labor Day. How much that the government can take away from you if you would give them that right to. For the 3-day weekend created by Labor Day, travelers pack airports and highways for end of summer escapes. You watch out for doing plane rides. Just saying. As you're thinking about jumping in a plane this Labor Day, remember that the cost of travel is very, very expensive. And our economy is not looking really good right now, as much as you might say, well, it's only, inflation is only increased by 2.9%. That's included on what it was before. It is our inflation is not at 2.9%. Okay. My suggestion would be start saving your bucks. Start saving your bucks. It's not going to get much better before the election, and it's not going to get much better after the election, regardless of who wins. You know, in some ways, I sort of hope that Camel Toe does win, because the fodder that it will make, the fodder for that would be wonderful. Now, 2.9%. No, here's the thing. So inflation has been increasing. Okay. In what was it? December of 2021, I think is what it was. Inflation had hit, or is it 22, 23, 21? Something like that. Inflation hit 13% in a month. That was a 13% increase. The following quarter, or in that quarter in 2021. So the following quarter, it increased another 1.5%. The following, it increased another 2.9%, and it's been increasing ever since. So inflation has been increasing this whole time. Now, they predicted that it was supposed to be 3.1%, 3.5, something like that. It only increased 2.9%. So yes, inflation is, don't want some financial breathing room. I don't, I want some financial breathing room. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Volstorm. I understand what you're saying. 80% of our workforce does not get to have Labor Day off since they are forced to all be in work, but the managers. Yeah. Volstorm's like, I hate you. Don't you dare promote having camel toe ever get there. I need to get some financial breathing room. Yes, I do. But I agree. I agree with you. I'm trying to be funny. I guess that fell flat, just sort of like camel toe's ass. Sorry. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting interesting one. For the 3-day weekend created by Labor Day, travelers pack airports and highways for end of summer escapes and backyard chefs prepare cookouts for family and friends. Well, yeah, they tried that back a while back, but the government locked them all in their homes. Barbecuing has been a part of Labor Day, except for like the past 3.5 years. It hasn't been part of Labor Day celebrations because they told you that you couldn't. Remember that they told you couldn't meet up with family for Labor Day, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. You couldn't go visit your grandma in the hospital as she died. You had to look at her through a pane glass window as she wept that she couldn't touch her grandchildren one last time. Yeah, that's what they gave to you. That's what your current administration gave to you. Nice, huh? He said it was already an entrenched tradition in the U.S. when the labor movements, blah, blah, blah. It's still been the same communist sense gathering around the grill eating together, except for the past 3.5 years. Well, I think they finally relaxed them last. But for the 2 years prior, 2022, 2021, you were not allowed to be around family. Matter of fact, it was condemned. You were called racist, bigoted, misogynistic, every single name under the book if you didn't agree with them. In Chicago, a parade and festival were held over Labor Day weekend in what is now the Pullman neighborhood, home of the holiday roots. Bob Reeder, president of the Chicago Federation of Labor, said the parade and festival they host brings in union members and families from all over the area. It's so fast how you people forget these things. They locked you in your homes. That they told you you're not supposed to be around family. That you, if you didn't take the damn vaccine, you were racist. You were looking to kill grandma and grandpa. How has the labor movement evolved over the decades? When Labor Day became a federal holiday in 1894, unions in the U.S. were largely contested, and courts would often rule strikes illegal, leading to violent disruptions. It wasn't until the 1935 that private sector employees were granted the right to join unions. I don't know where that right is. I guess there's some sort of right that's there, but that would just be a Relations Act. That's not really a right, is it? Nowhere in the Constitution do they have that. Pretty sure. Oh, okay. Well, what's the connection between fashion and Labor Day? It's broken with very fashionable results, but I don't care where it originated. The holiday, he said, is kind of this hinge between summertime dress and fun, going back to more serious pursuits. I don't know. I'll be serious. Why so serious? Oh my God. This is amazing to me. What do they got this time? Let's see. So they had this little we have this really interesting thing because they're going to tell you what I had to pull this up because I'm curious what they're saying here. Okay, let's see. What is this? The fact checking part of AP. We know that their fact checking is skewed horribly one direction. What does it say? Republicans turned Tim Walz's outing in a dog park nearly 3 years ago into an attack on him. I don't know what they're talking about because this is news to me. I've never heard anything about something about him walking a dog or something. This intended takeaway that Walz somehow lied about the identity of his dog, Scout, by describing two different dogs as beloved pet in separate posts. Okay. Social media users shared screenshots of the post as alleged proof that he did whatever he did. Really? I thought people were more pointing out the fact that he's got stolen valor. Pretty sure that people are pointing that out more than anything else. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just not paying close enough attention. Yes, maybe. Could that be what it is? I think that's what it is. I'm just not smart enough. Just not smart enough. Oh, damn me and my intelligence. I've failed you again. I have failed you again. I just don't understand. I've never been good at this kind of thing. Never been good at this kind of thing. Okay. What is that? No, I'm not doing that. So there was some sort of post. He was hugging a black dog and his favorite pup Scout or something like that. In response, they shared a post that Walls was simply playing with someone else's dog while mentioning Scout in the caption. Okay. I don't care. She had the sheer amount of false claims could create the perception that there is some truth to them. What? Yeah, like what they've been doing over the past couple of years. Mixed in the frivolous attacks on balls to the walls is criticism about other inconsistencies, like him being, stolen valor, about him being a coach. He was assistant coach. Let's see, about him carrying guns in a war that he was never at. All of those kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, they started calling him out on all this bullshit. Like, they're all happy, joy. It reminds me of, there you go. That's exactly what it is. It's Ren and Stimpy. I have figured it out. It is totally Ren and Stimpy. You've got the little chihuahua. I'm going to kill you, man. And then you got Stimpy, the useful idiot that's, digging in a cat litter box. And then, of course, you got Ren that runs in there and eats the poop out of the litter box. Happy, joy. Yeah, that is it. They are Ren and Stimpy. I have figured it out. Oh, Ren, you're so smart. Log, loggy log. Oh my god! And they're built like Ren and Stimpy too. You got Stimpy that's sort of this fat creature, that's big doofus, and then you got Ren, which just is this annoying little piece of garbage chihuahua that's just angry all the time. I would kill you, Ren. Mixed in with the frivolous attacks on Waltz and criticism and other consistencies. For example, earlier this month, Waltz went after Vance by saying, if it was up to him, I wouldn't have a family because of IVF. But of course, they had a different treatment known as IUI. But nobody cares. That's the thing. They're making a point that this is typical of politics. Walt's military record has also faced scrutiny from everyone, such as that he portrayed himself as someone who spent time in a combat zone, which he didn't. And of course, Waltz never served in a combat zone during his 24 years in the Army National Guard. It doesn't matter. He's never in a combat zone. This is the spaghetti approach. No, it's stolen valor. That's all it is. Such attacks can be used to demobilize voters. No, tell the truth. It's just nasty. Why are they being so nasty? Because they're calling you out on your bullshit. It's simple. Weird how that works. They call you out on your bullshit and you get all butthurt about it. Oh my God. What is this? Huh. What is it? It says, I hate these damn ads. Days after NASA announced 2 astronauts had been stranded on the International Space Station, the space agency had a series of contentious meetings with Boeing to determine how to bring them back to Earth, but they're not going to get to do it. The meetings attended by senior level employees on both sides were tense and often devoted into yelling and arguments. It was heated, said a NASA executive who's familiar with the talks. Boeing was convinced that the Starliner was good enough condition to bring the astronauts home, and NASA strongly disagreed. What? NASA disagreed, strongly disagreed. The thinking around here was that Boeing was widely irresponsible. At the end, NASA decided to overrule Boeing's wishes and have the company's biggest rival, SpaceX, bring home Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams. But which one is Butch and which one is Suni? I'm curious. Looking at this picture, I can't really tell. I do like the photo op pics. That's really cool. Thinking critically and asking questions is racist, homophobic, misogynistic, transphobic. Stop thinking and stop asking questions. Just obey. Obey. You want to see what happens whenever you obey? You won't know. You know what happens whenever you obey.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Roddy Riper movie. Oh, I know. I got that one too. I just don't think I have it here on this particular one. I don't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't. I do have it. I do have it here on this one because, well, it is pretty common for that one. Where is it? Yeah, here it is.
How are you today, sir? Okay, how's it going? Fine, thank you. Thank you, sir.
No, not that one. Oh, I do that all the time. They live. Worse, the leaks were causing thrusters to malfunction. Ooh. So I'm looking at this picture. Whenever I see this picture right here, I notice something. Okay. They have to be posing for this picture because in no way, shape, or form is this helmet going to seal with her hair hanging out like this. Unless it's photoshopped in there. Yeah. I just took my kid to that movie at the big screen this summer and loved it. Yeah. It's a good one. They live. So they made it perfectly clear to us, but what's the headline? If there's a catastrophic failure, it's not Boeing killed the 2 astronauts. It's NASA that killed 2 astronauts. So no, it's better safe than sorry. Execs at the aerospace giant also made their displeasure clear to top-level employees in an internal email last week. Speaking of an internal email last week, I've got internal something right here. You just reach in there. I love doing that to you.
Yeah, and you see how I reacted.
Yep. Like, I'm not saying a word.
Like, no, I'm gonna put this on you as a boomer mistake.
I love it.
Why are you gay?
Why are you so gay?
You are gay.
You are gay. Oh man, this is so funny. This is like old news right here.
What is it?
Oh, it's just that
I was too busy setting up to hear this part. So,
oh yeah, X is going to be launching a rocket, I believe, in February. That's going to bring the astronauts that are stranded on the space station. Because
is it gonna blow up too?
No. That's what they're worried about with Boeing's because it's.
Oh yeah, legit.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, I don't think we're going to use Boeing for this one.
So
And they,
the rocket's intact, but we can't keep the door on.
well, yeah, who needs a door whenever you're flying through space? I mean, come on. I mean, it'll just you've got a space suit, and it'll just warm up a little bit inside as you fall back to Earth.
It's fine. All the flames from re-entry, no big deal.
No worries about that. But here's the best part that says they made it very clear to us, but what's the headline here is if there's a catastrophic failure, it's not Boeing that killed 2 astronauts, it's NASA that killed 2 astronauts. So no, it's better safe than sorry.
Yeah, pretty much it's on NASA at that part because any failures by your subcontractors are still back on you.
Yeah, because you allowed it to happen.
You allowed it to happen. You said, okay, that looks good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
This is gonna bring all kinds of hate right here. I know it is.
Let's do it. It's Friday.
All right, here it is. The Iranian regime is funneling money and its influence into anti-Israel college campus protests across the U.S., often through puzzily named organizations. And
you mean these protests aren't organic? What?
No, they never were. And many who join those protests don't realize who's really behind them. For example, Texas-based Rise Against Oppression, RAO, says it's a collective of Muslim grassroots activists, but downplays its links to the government of Iran. In April, members within the group reclaimed a student center at Houston University, a school of more than 45,000 students, as part of a nationwide call to establish the popular University of Palestine. We are reclaiming our spaces to push divestment. And there's divestment, said Houston for Palestine Liberation, part of the RAO collective, in a social media post. Yes, these are groups. See, right there. That's about them.
These people have been fighting wars for thousands of years. You not think they don't know how to manipulate the communists?
It's easy.
It's easy.
Especially kids in college. You know how easy kids in college are to manipulate?
Hey, here's $20. Why don't you go protest? Okay.
No, it's even easier than that. All you have to do is get some little hottie to tell them, hey,
that's true.
You know what? If you come fight with me, look at what I've got to offer. You too can have this. And then they never put out.
Oh, exactly.
But they'll keep white knighting for them.
Yep. Oh, because what they do is they pick these weak ass soy boys who will just eat that shit up.
Oh yeah.
And then they get all their other loser friends, and then they go out and protest, and and in the end, they get nothing. They get nothing.
Well, they do get high student loans. Like I said, it's easy to manipulate college students. If it wasn't easy to manipulate college students, you wouldn't have this loan debt crisis.
Jeez.
You wouldn't have underwater basket weaving as an elective.
Right.
Or as a major, I guess is what it is. It's not even elective anymore.
Yeah, and then you wouldn't have the government pleading, we need to relieve student loan debt. Well, first of all, y'all promote it as if it's really needed in the first place. And second of all, it is the biggest transfer of wealth back to the wealthy.
What did I just say? Look right here. What did I just say?
Yep.
That I hadn't even read this yet.
Be sure to follow our OnlyFans.
That's exactly what I pull up. These are the women that are saying you need to support this.
Yeah.
I'm Israel against Iran.
Yeah. Because they're getting paid
a lot of money. Yes.
All they have to do is they tell them set up your OnlyFans account and then we'll funnel money through there.
Yep. That's all that happens.
Don't you people know about money
You lost your
laundering?
brother and had to call all over Tennessee looking for him all night. He's in Chattanooga. I'm so sorry to hear that, Debbie.
Wow. Yeah, I knew you
Sorry
were.
to hear you.
I knew you were. I
Good
knew you were
looking,
going
yeah.
through some stuff last night, and you were trying to head over to UT. So
So sorry, Debbie Webb. That's. Iranian government actors have sought opportunistically to take advantage of ongoing protests regarding. They keep saying the war in Gaza. It's an attack on Israel. I mean, do I have to put it any way else? Iran has been attacking Israel for longer than I've been living, longer than Ballstorm has been living. Probably if we combined all of the people in chat right now into one collective unit as one string of lives lived together, they've been fighting like this for longer than all of our lives have been.
thousands of years. Thousands.
Not just a couple hundred, not just a few thousand, like 4,000, 5,000, 4,000 years over.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. See, no more aid to Israel, free Palestine. And last night, I don't know if you watched last night.
No, I was watching
at
college
all.
football. I had better stuff to watch.
Good for you. Hell yeah. But if you would have watched last night, she showed her support for Palestine.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because first thing that she said is I totally support Israel, but I want to make sure that it's a two-nation state. That there's two nations that are represented there, and that's why we need to have a ceasefire. It's like, so you're calling for Palestine. You're supporting Palestine because they're not a country. That's been the issue between them and Israel. So it is a bullshit story.
Absolutely it is. I mean, a lot of these people don't even remember the PLO. This is before Hamas.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean, this is not new. The names are different, but this is not new. And unfortunately, what we do is we like to put our own personal beliefs into the middle of it and think, well, they think just like us, and because of that, blah 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 blah. That's not the way it works over there.
No, this is not. It's like I had a friend that was from Canada, or still is from Canada, and he was like, yeah, I mean, anytime I think about America, it's just like everybody's walking around toting firearms. And it's a wild, wild west. I was like, yep, absolutely, stay in Canada.
First of all,
exactly
yes.
Like.
Second of all, just stay up there with your dough.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'm like, no, that's not true. That is not what it looks like in the United States.
No.
I wish it was.
Here's the difference. See, the wonderful people that I've seen in the chats that you and I kind of congregate with that are from Canada, those are good based people. All the rest of them can stay up there with Trudeau.
Yeah. And he's all about, he was so pissed off because of the truckers in was it Ontario or some crap like that?
Yeah.
He was like, and he's raging about it. He lives nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. He goes, well, I've heard stories that they're disrupting the whole thing. I was like, do you know why they were disrupting? Because you were locking them in their fucking homes.
Yeah.
You were telling them that they were going to be fired if they didn't get jabbed.
Just like Tim Walz.
Yeah. That's what they were protesting. Hey, how you doing, girl?
Toy.
Fun. I guess facts are invited too.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yes. They removed a clot from his brain last night that was paralyzing his left side after a stroke. He's stable. Oh, okay.
Good. So, that's awesome news.
Oh, he's stable. Ooh, I thought you said that you had lost him.
Well, she found him.
Okay. Okay. Whenever she said lost, I thought maybe like he had passed. I'm like,
No,
downer.
She found him. It's good.
Okay.
It's all good.
Okay. I feel better now. I'm just sitting there trying to find something happy to talk about. And way to go. Thanks, Debbie. Get me all worried. Shit.
And talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children and what that means to the future of our nation, depending on whether or not they have the resources they need to achieve their God-given dream.
In college, I took a public speaking course.
Yeah.
And you would have some of these people that, say, okay, you've got to give a 20-minute speech on, it's got to be persuasive or, whatever the terminology was. And you would have those people take a 5-minute speech and stretch it into 20 minutes and just sounded like the dumbest, most incoherent babbling you've ever heard in your life. That's her.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you're talking just to talk. You get to the damn point.
That's me on a daily basis.
No, it's
talking
different.
Hey,
YouTube's different. YouTube's different.
Okay.
You're not running for president.
No, never. I'm not that stupid.
Right.
Oh, here we go.
I think I was, 22 when I started work.
See, she looks like she's drunk.
She does look like she's drunk.
But, see, like
Michael Malice was right whenever he said that. He was like, she's like the drunk wine mom.
She's either drunk or high. Because we've all seen those people that have gotten too high and then they start going off incoherently.
I think she's medicated because that's the only way she can keep the crazy down.
Oh, drugs flow like wine in the Biden-Harris administration, man.
Well, and the reason I say this is my wife has an Indian friend. That she used to work with. No, I mean like she's like full on Indian, not just like part Indian. She's full on Indian, like
right.
Push start Indian. And her husband, which is Indian also, and she will tell you right out of her mouth. She was like, "No, I am fucking insane crazy. Like this is just the way that Indian women are. They're like,
she's a woman. Crazy.
Yeah, well, a woman, and she's like, no, serious, Indian woman, crazy. She makes no qualms about it. She was like, this is just, atypical. We're always stressing and panicking, and she goes, a lot of Indian women go on meds to keep down the fucking crazy so they can keep a man. It's like, wow,
yeah.
She's like, she goes, you have no idea, like, and her husband, he's just like, oh no, she's batshit crazy, dude. Like she's smart as all get out and absolutely lovely, but man, she's just
your friend. I was referring to Kamala. Sorry about that.
No. I'm sure Kamala has some good features about her. I mean, at least that's what a few.
Well, Willie Brown thought so.
Have said. Let's see what she has to say here.
I learned. I think I was 22 when I started that work. I learned that with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense. And because of the swipe of my pen, that person could be arrested. They could sit in jail for at least 48 hours. They could lose time from work and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd lose standing in their community. All because of the swipe of my pen.
Hold up. You know how I interpret that? I interpret that as, and I could do that to even the littlest of you. It sounds like a total power trip.
And you notice when this was in 2020.
Yeah.
And guess who ended up becoming vice president? And
Yeah.
guess who got held up by a swipe of that pen multiple times, over and over.
Exactly, Heidi. It sounds like a threat. It doesn't sound like you're being benevolent to people who should have been charged with higher offenses. It's like, no, I can, with the swipe of my pen, I can reduce your sentence. It's actually sounds like violence.
She never did.
The charges, but their life would forever be changed. So I learned at a very young age the power. I learned.
There you go. I learned the power. And you were 22. Trust me, at 22, I didn't know jack either.
Mm-hmm.
Much less hold that much power. Jeez.
Yeah, I pulled a lot of these kinds of clips.
Another issue, big one, is immigration. Mm-hmm. As vice president, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern
illegal immigration.
Borders are.
That's what she was tasked with.
Countries and
northern part of Central America.
The northern part of Central America.
Oh, it was the northern part of Central America. Like
we have like
to
get it
another
specifically
border.
Right.
Yeah, be right. But she's never been to the border.
That deals with.
Never been to Europe either.
That affects the southern border of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
During the Biden-Harris administration, there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since we began that work. But I will say this, that
so wait, stop. So what you're telling me is that you funneled more money into other countries as opposed to just shutting down the border. That was your solution.
Yes.
You found another way to launder money instead of closing the border.
Yes.
Yeah, makes total sense.
So what they did is they invested into those same countries that are now gone full dictatorship.
Yep.
And that's why those people are leaving those countries. You funneled all of that money to dictatorships, money that the Americans paid for border security. All that money that they planned to go for border security, this was their plan for border security, to funnel that money into countries that you're
gonna pay off all these other countries as opposed to being like, no, because basically what you've done is by giving them money, you've given them more power, and therefore those citizens want to leave that much more.
Yes. That's exactly it. You figured it out.
Wars are won with money, folks.
Yes.
Administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue
Democrat.
that is very.
Don't say Congress, say Democrats.
No, it was a bipartisan effort by rhinos and Democrats working in unison with Democrats to pass a border bill. But the border bill gave, what was it, 60 million? I think I totaled it was like 65 million to Ukraine. It was going to be like 10 million to the southern border.
Yep.
And 20 million to Iran or Israel.
Yeah.
But the money that they were sending to Israel, they were considering that part of the border budget.
Oh, they considered the whole thing a part of the border budget. That's why
And-
they
and
touted it, and they said, "Well, we're funding the border." No, you're funding everybody else.
yeah,
You're
they're
not doing-
funding Ukraine.
You're giving
That
less
10
than
million,
a third to the border.
the 10 million and the 10 million that they were talking about sending to the southern border, in the southern states on the border of Mexico, was to fund the processing centers of processing illegals coming into the country, so they could get through the backlog much faster.
Yep, that's all it was.
That was their thoughtful process of doing this. I'm like, okay,
You know how you get through that? You don't let them in. That
Yeah.
completely eliminates your backlog. You just don't let them in.
don't let them in. M60s, 50 cals, alligators, whatever you got to do.
Sharks with laser
shark.
beams.
Sharks with laser beams. I'm thinking, have you ever seen those like fun houses where
Yeah.
the faster you walk, the faster you move backwards?
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking spring-loaded like ejection panels, just every so often.
Yes, what they could do is they build a bridge, okay? They can call it whatever they want to, the bridge to humanity or whatever. The
Mhm.
entire bridge is a moving sidewalk that goes backwards. And if you somehow make it to the end, then there's an ejection port that pushes you all the way to the back.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
What's even, I thought about this. They could also do what they in Guatemala, or not Guatemala, but Cuba, to protect the border there of the United States. Because we own a little section there, don't
Dude,
we? Guantanamo Bay.
I want the bridge to humanity to look like the obstacle course in American Ninja Warrior.
There you go. Except whenever you get to the end, it just takes and
You get deported.
Get deported right back. Well, and the thing is, as much as they talk about this, we already have a process for coming into the United States. That process has been there for quite some time, but the majority of illegals that we have in this country, there's a reason why they're called illegals. There's also a reason why the AP put out notice that they didn't want you saying the word illegal immigrant anymore. They wanted to call them either migrants, immigrants without legal
Documentation
to be in the United States.
Yeah.
They want to call them migrants. They want to call them anything but illegal immigrants, because that's disparaging. Truthful, but disparaging.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, this was what they did, and it was Trump's fault. The reason they blamed it on Trump, and they said it was Trump's fault, was because after this came in front of Congress, because it would have made Trump look bad. So he told everyone that because he was running, you can't vote for them. So he had no control. You're vice president. You got a president. You're in control of the situation. You screwed it up.
No, Congress shut it down. And you know what? If you want to blame Trump for that, blame Trump. I really don't care, because it doesn't matter in the end. But the fact of the matter is that the damn bill had more money going to foreign entities than to the border wall, and that's why it got shot down. It's got nothing to do with Trump saying, "Oh, this would make me look bad." He didn't care. He knew it was doomed.
Exactly.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. We have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities. I think about this issue through the lens of my baby nieces, who are 1.5 and 3 years old. And when I look at those babies and I think about what the world will be like in 20 years if we don't act, I'm really afraid. And as it relates to those Republicans in Congress, where I've now been for 2.5 years, every one of those members needs to look at the babies, the grandbabies in their life, and then look in the mirror and ask themselves, why have they failed to act?
And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
no, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020 that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
There you go.
Well, then why didn't somebody pull up the clip from 2020 then? If that's supposedly when she made the remark, find where she said that in 2020.
Oh, I'm sure she put something out there. I'm sure she put something out there that was, veiled. But here's the thing. And I was watching this last night with Tulsi Gabbard. Whenever I was shutting down the stream, she's actually on Joe Biden's what do you call it? Like debate team, I guess would be the way to put it.
Okay.
She is the one that's coaching him on how to debate camel toe.
What?
Because she knows all.
Tulsi is coaching. Oh, you're talking about back then.
No, she's doing it right now for their debate that's going to be happening on September 10th.
Tulsi is coaching Kamala?
No, Trump.
Oh, Tulsi is coaching Trump. Oh yeah. Hell,
Yeah.
Trump doesn't need a coach to go up against her, but yeah.
Well,
I mean, of all the
because you
people,
have to-
I would want Tulsi to do it.
But you see the way that she, I guarantee you she's probably toning down on what he says and probably coming from the perspective of having a debate with him as she would have it and trying to tone down what he says and the length that he speaks and how to go against camel toe whenever camel toe starts with her lies, because she can't do anything but lie.
Well, but Trump already mastered that when he went up against Biden. Notice he didn't speak as much.
Right, but
He just
also
let him go on, and he only attacked the point.
Yeah, and but also I think it helps for her to do this with him, because going against debating someone like Biden is a lot different than debating someone like camel toe.
Oh yeah, because all camel toes go get up there and go, "Let me speak. Let me speak."
I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. No, he's why is he? Well, he's taking an attack at me. Have you ever seen a woman do that? Like they start yelling and saying something that's really obnoxious, and you stand up and you say stop, and immediately they give this feint of like, why are you attacking me? Like,
yeah, that they turn around on you and play victim.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've seen it.
I've been in relationships before. Of course, I've seen it
before. I looked at her. I was like, dear, I'm not attacking you, but you're not going to sit here and yell at me over that. That's garbage.
See, there was one thing that I had learned years ago. It was by the guy that owns Pilot Oil, and he talked about the power of the pause.
Yes.
Which is when you're negotiating, when you're talking with somebody, he was like, don't be afraid of silence. Don't be afraid of dead air. Don't be afraid to take a moment before you speak. He goes, and of course he was very successful. And I took that to heart ever since. And you would be surprised how well that works. You just stop, they talk and then you just stop. Formulate your answer and then go on the attack.
Yep. Yeah, I have to speak differently with my wife than I do other people. One, because she's an attorney. She will. She's a son of a bitch whenever it comes to that. Like, damn it.
That's why I've learned to always have your facts in order before you get into that.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine being told to vote for a candidate for president that's already in office and is guaranteeing to fix all of the problems that they told you didn't exist for the last 3.5 years? Kamala Harris says she's the one to fix the border, not Donald Trump, even though the numbers were lower under Donald Trump. But fix what problem? You told us for 3.5 years the border was closed and secured and safe. Now we're finding out that's not true. And they've evidently lied about the number of children that have gone missing. This is the same person that tells us they're going to fix the economy. Fix what economy? You told us the economy was booming, the best we've ever seen. You guys have created more jobs and more manufacturing than any president in history, as they now just downgraded the jobs numbers yet again. And we're being told by the CEO of Home Depot that the government needs to be honest about what the real jobs numbers look like. See, she wants to put in price controls, as if we didn't learn anything from the Soviet Union, to control price gouging, when inflation due to printing money and spending money is what drove revenues up, which also increased profits because profit margins stayed the same. These are the same people that told you that they're going to fix crime. We were told in the last election that crime was down. It was just a right-wing talking point. Then we found out that major cities aren't mandated to report their crime data like they used to. See, these are the same people who told you Joe Biden was mentally sound and physically fit to be the next president, and they were going to do that, but they said that only long enough so that they wouldn't actually have to have a primary and have you vote, because the last time you had an opportunity to vote for Kamala Harris, you gave her less than 2% of the vote. But pick her, because she's going to fix all those problems that don't exist.
Yeah, pretty much.
In less than 2 minutes, destroyed every bit of her talking points. Oh, whenever she went down, it wasn't to the border. It wasn't to the border.
Yeah,
when she went down, she went outside. She went to El Paso, outside of El Paso. She went nowhere near the border. All you have to do is look at the trip that Donald Trump made down to the southern border in Eagles Pass.
Yep.
Okay. That Governor Greg Abbott there went to Eagles Pass, stood at the border, and there were illegals across the border that were yelling at him across the border going, "Is that Trump?" And he's like, "Yes, it is. How's it going?" Waves to him. That's where Trump was at. Do you know where Biden decided at the last minute and they said, "Oh no, this was planned. This was already planned. This was already planned. Panic, panic, panic. Trump's going to the border. We can't let him go down to Eagles Pass. Let's go to Brownsville." So they went to Brownsville, went nowhere near visiting the border. They went to the Border Patrol and had their nice little campaign get together on taxpayer dollar.
Brownsville's close.
Yeah, it is close. It is close.
And the only reason I know that is my dad used to have to go down there to Brownsville, so I know it well.
Yeah, Brownsville is close, but like I said, nowhere near the border. Even in Brownsville, just because you're in the town does not mean that you went near the border.
Exactly.
He went nowhere near there. I've got something that. Okay, so if something is firearm related and pre-recorded, will I get in trouble with YouTube?
Only one way to find out.
Okay. There shouldn't be any music with this, but this is what's happening in an apartment complex in Colorado.
Yes.
Yes. This right here is what's happening in Colorado. Colorado is a sanctuary city.
Yep.
Yes, they've taken over the entire apartment complex.
Well, I was told by Joe Biden, all you need to defend your home is a over and under shotgun.
Yeah, you only need one shot.
Yeah,
and shoot, and you don't shoot. You don't aim. You don't aim to kill. You don't aim to kill. You shoot them in the leg.
Fire a warning shot. Over your
Our
head.
warning shot over their head. They'll run. Yeah.
Jeez. Which, if I recall, the magazine that was used in that AR is illegal in the state of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'm in trouble because I didn't. That gun would be modified in the state of Colorado. That would be considered a modified weapon.
Yeah.
And where do you think they got those from? Do you think they went to a gun show to get that?
No.
You don't think that they maybe got that from a gun shop?
No.
Yeah, actually they did.
Well,
because they've been robbing the gun shops and stealing those firearms out of gun shops. Yes.
What's awful funny? He had a lot of aftermarket accessories on there.
Well, those
That
you
wasn't
can get.
that wasn't a stock rifle.
No, that was not a stock rifle at all. Oh my God. And you know that Tulsi's still on a no-fly list, right?
Oh, she is. No, I didn't know she was still on it.
Oh yeah. Here, and this is where she talks about being on Trump's debate team here.
By the way, you're not on the terror watch list any longer, are you, Tulsi? Another shocking story as well. I hope that's all resolved.
Unfortunately, Sean, I wish I could say the same, but it has not been resolved. I've been informed that the targeting package that the TSA created for me when they put me on the secret domestic terror watch list is still operational.
God, that is insane. And we'll stay on that case as well. All right.
Yeah. Just think, they do this to an American citizen.
That was a verbal beatdown. And you came in, you were armed with facts. Also reports that you are part of Donald Trump's debate prep team. What do you tell him without giving away private conversation?
And she'll say, "Oh, Trump's got this."
Yeah.
You may have about debating Kamala Harris, because she did go in with, memorized lines to go after Joe Biden, and they were effective to some level.
Yeah, they were. First of all, as you know, President Trump is not a politician at all. He doesn't do traditional political debate prep. He is prepared to debate Kamala Harris anytime, anywhere. I think the only place where I may possibly be of help is really conveying that experience that I had with her on the debate stage that you just played, sharing the kinds of games she will play in order to try to hide her real record from the American people. It is clear that now that she is the candidate running for president on the Democratic ticket, she is saying one thing while her record and her actions over the last 3.5 years prove the exact opposite to be true. She is lying through her teeth every single day, which is.
Yeah. Like I said, she's probably sitting there acting like camel toe. I mean, if you've ever seen someone that does debates, like how they actually prep for a debate, they get somebody that debates like the other person, does the same things, has the same inflections, and portrays how that person is just to see how your reaction is.
Well, it's just like having a scout team in football. You have the scout team emulate whoever it is you're going to play.
Incredibly insulting to the American people and voters, because she thinks that we are so stupid that we are going to just forget what she has done over the last 3.5 years and all of a sudden buy this new lie that she is selling us. And, there are too many examples to cite, but you brought up my being on this secret domestic terror watch list. She says over and over again, she's going to be the champion and defender of freedom. And yet she and the Harris-Biden administration continue their mission of political retaliation to censor free speech, to go after people like me for criticizing them and their actions and policies. And of course, their foremost target continues to be Donald J. Trump, as we've seen with these new indictments that they've just rolled out. What she says, and this is what I'm encouraging people to pay attention to in this debate and in this campaign, don't listen to what she says, because whenever she opens her mouth, she is selling a lie. Focus on her record. And that's what President Trump will do, expose the truth about who Kamala Harris really is.
And this show.
Isn't it creepy? Isn't it creepy how, especially ever since the DNC, the Democrats have adopted this this pro-America stance? Doesn't it feel weird?
Yeah, all of a sudden they're screaming USA, USA, USA.
Oh my God. Have you played that clip? I forgot who the politician was, but he tries to start a USA chant at his rally, and it just falls so flat.
Yeah. Because they're not pro-US.
No. They never have been. These are the same people that wanted homeowners to take American flags off their houses because it was offensive.
Yes.
It's the same
You
people.
notice they didn't have any gay flags flying at the DNC.
What they did, they didn't show them.
But you notice that they still condemned other countries for taking down the gay pride flag on flying on embassies, that they were trying to fly alongside the American flag. Whenever they took those down, they said, no, you can't do that. Why are you doing that? You're so anti-gay.
They've taken the stance of they believe that the average American voter, I'm not talking about your Republicans, I'm not talking about your Democrats, they're going to vote however they're going to vote anyway.
Exactly.
I'm talking about your middle of the road, everyday American who doesn't really pay attention to politics. Do they really think that those people are so stupid that they don't see how disingenuous their whole campaign is, and they copying Trump at every angle?
They do. I think they think that people are that stupid because, it's just like I say, repeat a lie long enough, it becomes journalism.
Well, especially when you had the mainstream media repeating the same damn lies.
Yeah.
But they'll correct it to say that they have integrity. They'll go back and correct themselves after the damage is done.
Exactly. I mean, we saw what they did with Joe Biden's laptop or Hunter Biden's laptop.
Yeah. How they all said, this isn't a story. It's not a story. Well, yeah.
This is Russian disinformation. He's being fed Russian propaganda. They're going to look like complete fools whenever all this comes out that it was Russian propaganda.
How many times, if Trump gets in office, how many more times do you think they're going to try to impeach him?
Every single day.
Because isn't that all we heard for 4 years?
Yeah.
He went through at least, 2 impeachment processes?
I thought it was 3.
May have been 3. I can only think of 2, but it may have been 3.
Because it started out about Ukraine.
Yeah.
Started out about Ukraine. Whenever that failed, then they turned it to Russia. And wasn't there another one? I think it was over Stormy Daniels because of Avenatti, which is in prison, by the way, for the bullshit that he pulled with Nike.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. Avenatti tried to bilk more money out of Nike than we sent to our southern border. Just saying.
I know.
Shows how corrupt the media in the country is because, you have a wealth of radical statements. If it was Donald Trump making them, they would have played them 1,000 times a day. And they have yet to play Kamala in her own words, which is why I put it up on my website. So it's available for everybody. They can share it on social media with their friends, family, coworkers. So Jason Miller said we had this issue of last minute changes. Now, Kamala and her team had already agreed to ABC, agreed to the same debate rules that Joe Biden had with Donald Trump. And then all of a sudden, last minute, no, we want the mics on the whole time. Oh, no, we'd like to have the candidates sitting rather than standing. Can we bring in cheat sheets and notes into the debate? Jason Miller's quoted as saying that. I'm like, is that true? Did that happen? Is that evidence of fear on her part?
Well, the interesting thing here is not even Joe Biden asked to be seated during that debate. Not even Joe Biden asked to bring in notes and cheat sheets with him. To me, it just is another proof point and evidence of how unfit Kamala Harris is to be our president and commander in chief, and how she is unable to deliver a message that has not been scripted for her by her pollsters and the people behind the curtains who are not only controlling and making decisions for her and what she says and what she now supposedly stands for, but these are the very same people who have been doing this with Joe Biden as the figurehead over these last 3.5 years, which is a dangerous thing for our democratic republic, because voters need to know that who they vote for is someone that they can hold accountable. How do you hold accountable nameless, faceless people behind the curtains who are the ones actually making these decisions and actually calling the shots?
Well, here's the thing about that.
It's great that you're a part of it.
That's been going on for years anyway. But before they were able to get politicians who could actually pull it off and make it seem like it's genuinely coming from them. Biden couldn't do it. Harris can't do it. Why have they changed?
Why have they changed the pronunciation of her name? That's why I still call her Camel Toe. I haven't changed any pronunciation of her name.
Yeah, we call her Camel Toe.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about Cama, chameleon?
That drives
she
me.
Comes and goes. She comes and goes. Love would be easy if she wasn't always on her knees. On her knees. She aims to please.
We had a quarterback here that for 3 years we pronounced his name one way, and then finally his senior year he was like, "No, actually it's pronounced this way," and everybody's like, "What? Huh? Why have you changed it in your senior year?" It's the same thing with Camel Toe here. It's no, it's pronounced this way. If you don't say it this way, then you're racist. And then they changed the pronunciation. Yeah. Hell, Al Sharpton mispronounced it.
Yeah. He totally did.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris was in the back. She needed me to speak for her, so, well, I told her what she needed to do.
Kamala, Camel Toe. It doesn't matter.
If you don't know who we're talking about, well, Jesus. What was it? My wife was saying something the other night. She said there was this guy, I guess, because she like watches TikTok or some crap like that.
That explains a lot.
Well, yeah. He said there's a thing that people in the South sort of understand is no matter how you say it, that everybody knows what you're talking about. Right. And that's naked, butt naked, buck naked. And it was, and she said, thought about it. I was like, yeah, everybody, no matter what it is, everyone knows exactly what you're saying. Whether you say buck or butt or whatever, naked is naked.
But I've gotten to know you a lot over the last year, and I will tell you, it's clear to me you want the best interest of the country. To watch RFK Jr. and yourself get smeared and slandered and besmirched by people that were formerly friends is a little unbelievable.
It shows, unfortunately, and this is one of the reasons I left the Democratic Party, that the people in charge of the Democrat Party of today, they only care about power. And this includes Kamala Harris, obviously at the forefront now of the Democratic Party. She and her people will choose power, their own power, over the people and over the best interests of our country every single day. And that's really the choice.
Well, that goes for both sides. To me, that's not a legitimate argument.
Yeah.
Both of them want power. That's why they're seeking to be the most powerful person in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's see if I'm
at
gonna have.
at least the Democrats used to hide it better.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
They used to like Slick Willie. He was pretty damn good at making people think that he cared.
Oh yeah, he didn't give two shits. He was just waiting to get back to his get back into the Oval Office and have a knobber.
Hey, he was just, all he was interested in was hitting up his McDonald's and his interns.
Oh yeah. Well, you saw the one that I think it was Jon Stewart did the other day on the Daily Show.
What?
Oh, I'll play it here in a bit. But I'll play it here in a bit. This is out of Australia. This chick, it makes me laugh every single time that I see her. I mean, she gives me that like sense of humor.
Actually, a lame lefty losing it when the world-class writers aren't around. This is what happens.
Oh, I saw this.
Okay, it's worse.
Yeah.
I have to mute it.
Yeah.
A fake Melania.
Long before the MAGA fans were making announcements to that. Show you, but this one is wholesome enough. And look at that; they've got a Melania look like that. Now, what a shame!
Yeah, that was what she was saying there, but she went off on this one here. This is pretty good.
And see, and his lefty crowd are lapping it up.
They had a guy yelling, "Screw the billionaires," followed immediately by a very happy billionaire. It's all okay if it's our billionaire. They had guys making fun of people for going to Yale and a bunch of people who went to Yale. The Democrats had people who prosecuted sexual predators and
God, that's dead on. That's dead on.
That panic look of oh shit. Yeah, that'll probably get me copyright right there. So if you don't see it this go around, you better hurry up and go back and rewind and watch because it'll probably be blocked. I'll have to remove that little section.
Yeah, that whole clip's probably going to get taken off of this stream. So I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was. Oh, what was then there's this one here. She was on fire with this one. Yeah.
It's feeding Russian disinformation. Come down, guys.
From the Biden family's dodgy business dealings to Hunter's drug-fueled whoremongering, that was all real as well. But watch and marvel at Scarborough showing you why you should never trust MSNBC.
That even the New York Post knew was a lie. They published a series of lies peddled to them by Rudy Giuliani, who admitted that nobody else would take it but Rupert Murdoch's New York Post, because they might look into it and tell the truth. Here we are in 2020. This is what it's come down to, America. Giuliani is feeding Russian misinformation to Donald Trump and feeding Russian disinformation to the New York Post. They know it's a lie.
Yeah, well,
that's where we are in 2020.
The New York Post.
Just to let you know that they're still talking to Russians. And by the way, Russian hoax, come on. Really, seriously, history will expose you all as fools and useful idiots for the Russians.
History will
he's
expose
right.
you all as idiots
Yeah.
and useful fools for the Russians. That's what he said.
He's dead on. History will expose you for the idiots that you are.
Yep. Oh, it will. This
It's like,
is
look,
yeah.
if you're going to get up there and pander all these BS leftist talking points, you probably shouldn't be so impassioned about it, because it's going to come
Probably
back to bite you in
not.
the ass.
It will.
Ask himself more. Here he is asked why he likes Kamala Harris so much. What is it about her platform that gets him excited? Have a listen to this.
Oh, God.
Quick question: why you came, and what you like about Harris' platform?
Just very excited about moving forward and all the energy and excitement that's around this movement right now. So that's why I'm here, because it's time for change, and it seems like it's happening.
You think she'll be able to sustain the momentum post convention?
For sure.
You think the race is going to be close?
It's going to be close, but everybody's motivated to work and make it happen. So and she and Tim Walz are just incredible candidates.
She's an incredible candidate. And did you hear him say it's time for change? Now, I know Hollywood stars sort of exist in a parallel universe, but how divorced from reality is Ben if he's not aware that Harris is in the White House, that she is part of the Biden-Harris administration. I don't know what change he's seeking. Now, let's hear from the Biden-Harris administration's Commerce Secretary, Gina Raimondo, who says she's not familiar with the Bureau of Labor or their official statistics.
Oh, God,
When you
I
hear
love
that,
this.
do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No, when I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it, because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, dear. Now, Kamala was unleashed on some poor high school kids, and listen to how she speaks to them.
Yes,
Again,
yes.
these kids
Yeah.
are in high school, not kindergarten.
All of you are leaders. By the very fact that you all are here in doing what you do at this incredible school, doing it as one big team, understanding all of the different parts that fit together to create a team.
This is a passion with the vice president when she speaks.
No, I have to say, when I was doing my my finger paints and eating glue, I wasn't part of a team.
No.
Yeah.
Those are high school students. Those are high school students.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my God. It's just like, oh yeah, this one right here with the okay. And I went over this yesterday. Everybody went after Donald Trump for what they considered a campaign promotion. He was promoting a campaign whenever he went to Arlington Cemetery.
Oh, dear Lord.
By invitation, went to Arlington Cemetery.
Uh-huh.
And that right there got him all that got the left all bent out of shape, and they just constantly brought up a whole bunch of shit that was not true.
Hey, Aaron.
Okay. And whenever I saw this right here, this is what was brought up. We would like to express our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to President Donald J. Trump for his presence at the recent Section 60 gathering honoring our children and their fallen brothers and sisters on the 3-year anniversary of the Abbey Gate bombing. The President and his team conducted themselves with nothing but the utmost respect and dignity for all our service members, especially our beloved children. We had given our approval for President Trump's official videographer and photographer, one person, two person. We had a photographer and a videographer to attend the event, ensuring these sacred moments of remembrance were respectfully captured, and so we can cherish these memories forever. We are deeply grateful to the President for taking the time to honor our children and for standing alongside us in our grief, offering his unwavering support during the such a difficult time His compassion and respect meant more than words can express with sincere gratitude. And it names off Darian Hoover, which was the father of Staff Sergeant Hoover, the mother of Staff Sergeant Hoover Kelly Barnett, Christy Shamblin, which is the mother-in-law of Sergeant Nicole Gee. I'm probably saying the name wrong. Misty Rose Foucault, the sister of Sergeant Nicole McGee, and Cheryl Jules, the aunt of Sergeant Nicole McGee. These are the people that were there, that was filmed about. And that right there is what brings us to the next thing.
I mean, this diatribe you're about to listen is absolutely gross, even by MSNBC's very low standards.
But I know a lot of military were very uncomfortable with the idea that Trump was there at all, and that he even at one point posed for a photograph with family members with a big smile and thumbs up on their face. Now, we should note some of the family members were doing the same, but
she's smiling.
Donald Trump, it's seemingly very strange that he would do the same. And some of these veterans were sort of just aghast that even in any way, shape, or form, Arlington National Cemetery, arguably the most sacred place in our country, was being used as a backdrop for a political purpose.
Jonathan, I looked at the same pictures that you're alluding to now and describing at Arlington, taken with the former president. And the thought rolled immediately through my mind, is nothing sacred.
It's been said before, and I'm sure I'll be saying it again, you don't loathe the leftist media enough. Now, this comic news just to hand.
All right. First of all, that guy's a paid shill.
Yeah.
Second of all, the families invited only Trump. They didn't invite, and maybe they did invite Kamala or Camel Toe and Biden, but
nope,
they were busy. Oh, I didn't think they did. They wanted Trump to come there. They wanted Trump to come there. They also wanted Trump's videographer to come so that they could have memorialize the occasion. Jeez, I can't even talk. And Trump even had permission to bring the videographer. There are emails. But then all of a sudden he shows up and one little army staffer, who's probably a Biden shill, decided to throw a damn hissy fit.
Yes. And attacked one of the is either a photographer or the videographer. Attacked them. And if you didn't see in that picture, they're actually the person that was in charge of it was there for that picture also.
Yeah.
Was in charge of that detail, was in that picture. And they pointed this out. They said, no, there was already approval. They already knew what was happening.
Yep.
They had already agreed that it wasn't going to be used for a political campaign, which it wasn't. Because the video you see where Trump is walking down the stairs and laying those wreaths, those were taken from way the hell back. They weren't allowed close enough. They had to zoom in.
Right.
That's why they were so focused in on Trump himself.
Right.
Because they weren't allowed to show certain parts of that. They were very limited on what they could show, and they weren't allowed very close at all.
Right.
That's why those shots were from so far away.
And I didn't realize it. And as far as the picture that was taken with the families there, they asked him.
Yes.
He didn't just go, hey, let's take a picture while I'm here. They specifically asked him, can we take a picture with you, Mr. President?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I got another one for you. Let's see what this guy has to say. I haven't seen this one yet.
Take it away, Ben Bankus.
You don't like Trump? Yeah. What do you not like about it? I'm just curious.
No.
Yeah. What about the husband? Are you allowed to have an opinion in the house? No. What do you do, man?
I was unemployed and I just got a new job.
Yeah. That does sound like a guy who would date a girl that hates Trump. I was on the street homeless, and then I found this translator. I'm being for like that's why they're all here. You guys are just dumb liberals that bought tickets to the wrong show.
See, MG, that's what I'd heard too. He was invited, but they ignored it.
Now there was,
I believe so.
What I looked up a post that they had put out, and this was by the family members that they didn't invite Biden or Harris.
Okay.
And that was by the families themselves.
Right.
So that was like from one of the family members that posted on there and said, no, I want to set the record straight. Biden and Harris were not invited to this because they were the cause of this. Like our relatives would still be here had they not failed so miserably. Yeah. Well, he's got one more.
As Hollywood actor and comedian Rob Schneider also put an angry lefty loser in his place.
You're mad? That's okay. You know what the cool thing about it in America is? Free speech isn't the speech you like. Nice stuff's not what needs to be protected. It's the stuff that you hate that needs protection, so that somebody like the government or you doesn't get to decide what everybody else gets to hear.
Yep.
And you're more than welcome to disagree and write an act and get on stage and sell out like I just did.
Pretty much.
And let's end.
It's like people who will get on a YouTube channel and criticize whoever's doing it. Well, go start your own YouTube channel. Shut up.
Not hard.
But the First Amendment, free speech, is designed for one thing, and that is to protect the speech of the people you hate.
Yeah. That is exactly what it is.
That's why it's easy for me to say, I can disagree with you. I may think you're an idiot, but you know what? You have the absolute right to say it.
Oh, yeah. What is this next one? Gigi Hadid.
I have worked
no.
on my first impression.
Oh, really?
Right?
Really? I have to see this.
I've been working on this all week, okay, Jay?
Okay, let me
this
give
is
you your
my
space. Yeah.
Melania Trump impression. Okay, I gotta get the face right. I love my husband, President Barack Obama, and our children, Sacha and Malia.
Oh dear. You know, I've had migraines that were more entertaining and funny.
Me too.
I bet migraines are more entertaining. Oh, God. Oh, it's that time.
I've had conference calls that are more entertaining than that shit.
God, I've had. I'm halfway through. Let's see. That was 500 pages. 500 pages I printed out day before yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through, folding every single one of them into a nice little envelope this size right here that has their name, the address that pokes out through it. I'm halfway through those. Yeah. Oh, that was the second batch. Like I had the first batch, which was like 500 pages. This is the second batch that the printer just was on a constant run. I only had one page that, for whatever reason, the ink blurred. It might have been about the time that the printer started overheating. I've never had a fan kick on a printer before. The day before yesterday, it was like, wow. I was like, hell is that? Like that thing going to burst or something? And it did it break?
Is
like,
the printer going to explode? And am I going to have to fix something else?
I went through 2 reams of paper before that printer stopped printing.
Yeah.
2 reams of paper before that printer stopped printing. And I've been folding those things and putting them in envelopes just like throughout the day. Like I had to stop at one point because I was getting a headache. Like we're talking, I don't normally get headaches like in the middle of the day, and I had a headache. I mean, my brain was about to explode. My wife said she turned off her computer at one point because she heard me snoring. She wasn't sure if it was me or the dog. Because my head hurt so bad that I went and laid down and fell asleep for like 15 minutes. That's
Dude.
all I needed was just like 15 minutes. It hurt so bad.
Dude, we used to have a dog that snored so loud that the three of us were running a contest. Me, the dog, and Diva.
Like you could get louder. You ever snore so loud you wake yourself up?
On a plane. I've done that on a plane.
Yeah.
Flying 12 hours back from Hawaii. Yeah, I woke myself up twice.
I hate those flights. I hate them with a passion.
Don't do it. Break up the flight. Trust me, people.
Well, if we, we've flown over to Europe a couple of and back, and I'm just like, shit, this is rough.
Hey, Rosalind.
Hey, Rosalind, how you doing? Good morning. Yeah, you love the Aussie. She's on point. Yeah, she's with Sky News, and she does this quite often. I've found that sometimes I just pull this stuff up, and it's interesting because most of the time it's something I covered like the day before.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is hilarious. She's much more attractive to look at than me, I guarantee you.
Facts.
Oh, you do that sometimes? Snore?
Wake himself up snoring.
Oh yeah, wake himself up snoring. Yeah, there really isn't a whole lot in the news cycle. I mean, I'm sure that the news is boasting about how well Camel Toe did last night with her first interview ever. And I pointed something out to people. I was like, and I did that during like their little conversation. Like you had Tim Walz and you had Camel Toe there, and I just took black and blacked out Tim Walz and how awkward she looked in that situation. Like it was bad, like really bad. Like how awkward that woman looked throughout that entire interview. And also that she kept pointing out to calling Tim Walz like the president. That kind of shit. Like did it multiple times. Like here, I'll pull it up and show you exactly what I did. So what I did is I took my little magic marker here, and I did this. And I changed it to black because, black is in. And then I just did this number. That's all I did. All I did was this. You just take it out of context. All right. Take all that out of context and how awkward she looks there. Am I right?
Yeah.
So that is what it looked like before. And then at that, she looks tiny. She looks insignificant and, not impressive. He looks like Don Rickles. And I mean, I also did make another point that, because I was curious, because you have to be fair here. And somebody else said, well, you didn't do it completely right. Well, so I'm going to fix it for you guys today. Okay. I'll fix it for you today. Don't worry. It's going to get taken care of. I will make it right. Don't you worry. I have it for you. Have it. Just give me a second. It takes time. Got to get the eyes here. Give me time. Just bear with me. I'm almost there. It takes a little bit to really, really dig into this. That one there, and then we got to get the size of this correct. So we've got to have like this, a smile. Then you got to make sure that you get the the correct color on this one here, and then you've got to get the size of it right. So you got to have, oh no, that's not right. Get it bigger right there. There we go. So you get that, and then you've got to add. Yeah, I keep messing up because I can't help it. I screw these kinds of things up. Is you got to have like the little face right there. I mean, I'm getting closer. I'm almost there. Give me a second. And then it's sort of like this color, if I'm not mistaken, and something like this, where it just sort of like, got the hair, something like this, and then we've got, you got to add all of the colors in there to make sure that you get it right, because you got like this here. Got a little bit over here. Let's see if we. I know that I'm probably messing this all up, but I'm really bad at drawing. I've been for quite some time. Am I getting closer?
I think you've nailed it now, Shizzy.
You think I got it? You think that's close?
Yeah.
I mean, that or that close. Don Rickles. I mean.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I really, I don't even think I need all of that. That's the problem. I really don't need all of that. All I need is this. That's it.
Jeez.
John Wayne Gacy. Think.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Oh, and I don't thank you very much. No, I don't. I didn't notice this, but Baker, which is in that socialist country, across like some ice or something like that, he pointed out something about walls that he even noticed. You know what that was?
What?
That he overacts. Like a high school student that doesn't know how to act appropriately, like a clown that just sort of comes out and, hey guys, how's it going? Or we're happy.
Yep.
I was like, I never really noticed that, but Baker did.
He's right.
I because usually they have the music playing and I just fast forward because of the music. Yes. Guido the Clown, spelled with a P.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's Don Rickles, and that every time I've seen his face, that was the person it would make me think of as Don Rickles. But yeah, I'm thinking Ren and Stimpy. That's what I'm thinking.
Stimpy, you idiot.
I mean, you can see it now, like it's there. You got it. Rosalind. Oh, it's so bad. You guys are so bad. All right. It's been 3 hours. You guys, I don't even know where I'm going to send you. Who is streaming today? Let's see. I never know. Let me see who's currently up and running. Gotta be somebody.
Baker's on. Meme's on.
Well, let's see what's Meme talking about. He's doing the chain together with Max Mira. Oh, I'm not.
Oh, he's
doing
playing
that.
a video game. No.
Yeah, he's playing a video game. Not doing that. No. Let's see. I'm looking to see. We've got, man. Let's see, Mo. I think Mo will probably have another one coming up. But yeah, I'm going to send everyone over to Baker. Copy. All right, let's do that. Let's send all you fine folks over to Baker. And I'm going to go in here and manage the video. It always takes a little bit to get these things forwarded because I never know how long Sundays are going to last.
Yeah.
Never know. So that's why I'm always hesitant about putting people up there. Paste and go. Save that. And you guys go over there, give Baker a hard time. Make sure you put I don't know,
clown emojis,
clown emojis in his chat. I want to see it loaded with clown emojis whenever you guys go there. Tons of them. Tons and tons and tons. Just overloading. You'll know exactly what it means. Isel.
Now I gotta call somebody to come get me because my car has turned into a spaceship and I don't know how to fly it. I'm not an astronaut.